The day folds itself into darkness, and you have come to the edge of your own ocean. You stand at the shore, wanting to set sail into the calm sea of sleep, but the waters of your mind are still churning with the storms of the day. Your body is heavy with a deep and honest fatigue, a longing for rest that is primal and true. Yet the mind refuses to be still. It races, it plans, it remembers, it worries. It plays out conversations that have already ended and rehearses for encounters that have not yet begun. This is the great paradox of modern life: to be physically exhausted but mentally wired, to carry the noise of the world into the sacred silence of your own bed. The echoes of emails, the weight of expectations, the faint, persistent glow of a screen that lives behind your eyes. You have done everything you were supposed to do. You have carried the burdens of the day with strength, and now, at its end, you seek the simple grace of release. You seek peace. But peace cannot be forced, and sleep cannot be wrestled into submission. It must be invited. It must be courted. It must find in you a space quiet enough to enter. That is our purpose here, together, in this space. This is not another task to complete. This is an undoing, an unraveling. Consider these words not as an instruction, but as a handrail in the dark, guiding you back to a place you have always known. We are not here to fight the mind, for that is a war that can never be won. We are here to create a sanctuary, a quiet harbor, where the turbulent waters can gradually, gently, find their own stillness. Your only task now is to listen, to breathe, and to give yourself permission, finally, to come home. Here we are. The body has found its position of rest. The head meets the pillow, and for a single, fleeting moment, there is a sigh of release. The day is done. The fortress of responsibility is abandoned for the night. And in that first moment of surrender, there is a glimpse of the peace you seek. But then, it begins. A single thought, like a lone scout, appears on the horizon of your mind. Then another, and another. Soon, the entire plain is filled with them, a chattering army arriving precisely at the moment you have called for a truce. This is the great irony, the central paradox of the restless mind. It is only when you stop, only when you finally lay down your tools and seek quiet, that the noise truly begins. It is a second wind, but not of the body. It is a second wind of the mind. You may wonder why this happens. You may feel that your mind is broken, or that it is working against you, a traitor within your own skull. But let us look upon this phenomenon with a gentle curiosity rather than with judgment. All day long you move through the world, collecting experiences, absorbing information, navigating conversations, feeling fleeting emotions. There is no time to process it all. A moment of irritation is swallowed. A flash of insight is noted but quickly forgotten. A worry about the future is pushed aside to deal with the task at hand. Your mind, in its diligence, has been taking notes on everything. And now, in the first true moment of stillness you have offered it, it begins its work of filing, of sorting, of trying to make sense of the chaotic influx of the day. It is not trying to torment you. It is trying, in its own clumsy and overtired way, to do its job. It presents you with the unprocessed energy of your waking hours, holding up each fragment and asking, "What about this? And what does this mean? And what should we do about this?" It is not an attack. It is a cry for attention from a part of you that has been running all day without a pause. And so the conflict begins. A voice within you, the voice of profound exhaustion, pleads, "I must sleep. I need to rest." But another voice, the voice of the compulsive thinker, engages with every thought that appears. A worry about a meeting tomorrow arises. Instead of letting it go, the thinker grabs it, examines it from every angle, plays out disastrous scenarios, formulates strategies. An embarrassing memory from years ago floats by. The thinker seizes it, re-experiences the shame, analyzes what could have been done differently. The body lies still, a prisoner, while the mind runs a frantic marathon in the dark. This creates a terrible loop of tension. The more you engage with the thoughts, the more awake you become. The more awake you become, the more you begin to worry about not sleeping. I will be useless tomorrow, the thought comes. I will be exhausted. What is wrong with me? This thought about not sleeping then becomes the largest and most terrifying thought in the room, a monster that feeds on your fear of it. You try to force the mind to be quiet, but that is like telling a panicked child to calm down by shouting at it. The attempt to force stillness only creates more tension, more struggle, more noise. The battle itself becomes the very thing that keeps you awake. But what if you were told that you do not have to win this battle? What if the path to peace is not through victory, but through a radical act of desertion? The core message, the single ray of light that can pierce this midnight storm, is this: you do not have to calm the storm. You only need to find the unmoving center within you. You are not the storm. You are not the frantic thoughts. You are not the anxiety. You are the one who is aware of it all. Deep within you, behind the noise and the drama, there is a space of profound silence. There is an eye in the hurricane. It is always there. It has always been there. Your work is not to fight the wind and the rain, but to find your way back to this center of profound, unshakable peace. The thoughts can continue to rage, but they will no longer have power over you, because you will no longer be identified with them. You will be watching from a place of safety, a place of stillness. How do we begin this journey back to the center? We begin with a practice of profound simplicity, a practice of labeling, of noticing. When a thought arrives, instead of immediately engaging with it, you simply and gently note its presence. You do not need to say the words out loud. It is a silent, internal acknowledgement. A thought about work appears. In your mind, you simply label it, thinking, or work thought. That is all. A wave of anxiety washes over you. You notice it, and you label it. Worrying, or anxiety is here. A memory arises. Remembering. There is no judgment in this. There is no criticism. You are not saying bad thought or I shouldn't be thinking this. You are simply observing the activity of the mind as you would observe clouds moving across the sky. You do not chase the clouds. You do not try to change their shape. You simply lie on the grass and watch them pass. This practice does something miraculous. It creates a tiny wedge of space between you, the observer, and the thought that is being observed. In that space, freedom is born. You begin to see that thoughts are just events in the mind. They are not you. They are not facts. They are transient flickers of energy, and you do not have to attach yourself to every single one. Imagine your mind is a snow globe. All the events and worries of the day have shaken it furiously, and now the glitter, the snowflakes of thought, are swirling in a chaotic blizzard. Your instinct is to grab the globe and try to force the flakes to the bottom. You try to catch them, to command them, to stop their movement. But every effort to control the storm only shakes the globe more, making the blizzard worse. The wisdom lies not in action, but in non-action. The only way for the snow to settle is to place the globe on a steady surface and leave it alone. You must trust the natural law of gravity. You must trust that, in stillness, everything will find its own way to the ground, leaving the water clear and peaceful. The practice of labeling, of non-judgmental observation, is the act of setting the snow globe down. The steady surface upon which you place it is your own silent awareness. By refusing to shake it further, by refusing to engage, you allow the natural process of settling to occur. The storm of thought does not end because you defeated it. It ends because you stopped feeding it your energy and attention. So right now, in this moment, let us try this. Whatever thought is most present for you, let it be here. Do not push it away. Do not wish it were different. Simply notice it. See it for what it is, a flicker of energy, a memory, a plan, a worry. Silently, gently, give it a label, thinking, and then let it be. You do not need it to go away. You are simply withdrawing your active participation in it. You are taking your hands off the snow globe. Notice the urge to grab it again, to worry it, to solve it. And simply notice that urge. Label it. Urge to engage. And let that be too. Feel the solidness of your body, the reality of your presence in this bed, in this room. That is the steady surface. The thoughts are the swirling flakes. They are not as solid as they seem. You are the stillness that contains them. You are the silence that holds the noise. With each thought that you notice and release without struggle, you are clearing the water. You are allowing the peace that is your true nature to reveal itself. There is nothing to fix. There is nowhere to get to. There is only this gentle act of letting be. The mind will continue to offer up its contents, for that is its nature. But you are learning a new way. You are learning to sit on the bank of the river of thought and watch the currents flow by, without any need to jump into the water. This is the beginning of freedom. This is the path back to the quiet harbor. And to hold us steady on this bank, to give us a firm foundation as we watch the river flow, we must find an anchor. We must find something that is always with us, always in the present, always true. You search for an anchor in the storm of thought, something to hold on to that is real and true. You look for it in philosophies, in promises, in complex techniques, but the anchor you seek is not outside of you. It is not something you need to acquire, for it has been with you from your very first moment of life, and it will be with you until your very last. It is the breath, so simple, so overlooked, so profoundly powerful. It is the rhythm of life itself, the constant, faithful companion that you carry within your own body. While your mind wanders through the haunted corridors of the past and the anxious mazes of the future, your breath remains here, now, in this moment, patiently waiting for you to return. It is the most reliable anchor you will ever find, because it is the very presence of life itself, expressed in a gentle, repeating rhythm. Let us explore this connection, for it is not merely poetic, it is deeply physiological. Your breath is the master controller of your nervous system. It is the bridge between your conscious will and the vast unconscious processes that keep you alive. When your mind perceives a threat, whether it is a real physical danger or a projected worry about the future, the body responds instantly. The breath becomes shallow, rapid, originating high in the chest. This is the ancient signal of fight or flight. It floods your system with stress hormones, tensing your muscles, quickening your heart, preparing you for battle or escape. Your mind might be worrying about an email you have to send tomorrow, but your body is preparing for a tiger in the grass. This is the state many of us live in, a low-grade, chronic state of emergency, fueled by a lifetime of shallow, anxious breathing. But there is another way. By consciously choosing to alter the pattern of your breath, you can send a different signal, a message of profound safety and peace that your body understands more deeply than any reassuring words. A slow, deep, diaphragmatic breath, a breath that fills the belly and empties completely, speaks the body's native language. It says, "You are safe. The threat has passed. You can stand down the sentries. You can rest. You can heal. This is not a trick. It is a direct communication with the most ancient and wise parts of your being. And yet, the thinking mind often scoffs at such simplicity. As you begin to turn your attention to your breath, you may notice an immediate resistance. This is boring. A thought may whisper, "It isn't working. My mind is still racing. I should be doing something more effective." The mind, addicted to complexity and drama, can feel impatient with the quiet, monotonous rhythm of breathing. It seeks a quick fix, a dramatic solution. It may even try to turn the breath itself into a task to be perfected. Am I doing it right? Is my inhale long enough? Is this the correct technique? This is the ego, trying to maintain control, trying to turn a simple act of being into an act of doing and achieving. See this resistance for what it is. Just more clouds passing in the sky, more snowflakes swirling in the globe. Acknowledge the impatience. Label it. Impatience is here. Then, gently, kindly, return to the breath. The wisdom of this practice has been passed down through millennia, honored in countless traditions, precisely because of its simplicity, not in spite of it. It works not by giving the mind another complex problem to solve, but by taking away its fuel source altogether and grounding you in the simple, undeniable reality of being alive right now. This is the core message, the profound gift of the breath. It is a portal to the present moment. Think about it. You can have a thought about the past. You can have a feeling about the future, but you cannot take a breath yesterday, and you cannot take a breath tomorrow. The breath is always and only now. Therefore, when you place the entirety of your soft, gentle focus on the sensation of your breathing, you are pulling your awareness back from the scattered realms of what was and what might be. You are anchoring yourself in the only point of power you will ever have, the only place where life is actually happening, the present moment. Peace is not found in a perfect future or a revised past. Peace is the nature of the present moment when it is unburdened by the weight of your thinking. By returning to the breath again and again, you are practicing the art of returning to this peaceful, powerful now. So let us practice together, gently. There is no need to strain or force. Invite the breath, don't command it. Let your attention rest on the physical sensations. Notice the feeling of the air as it enters your nostrils. Perhaps it is cool and dry. Follow that sensation as it travels down your throat and into your lungs. Invite the breath to go deeper, to fill the belly. You can place a hand on your belly if you wish, and feel it gently rise with the inhale like a soft balloon. This is the sign of a true, diaphragmatic breath of relaxation. And then, on the exhale, simply let go. Allow the air to leave your body completely. Notice the release, the gentle collapse of the belly. Notice the air now feels warmer as it passes out of your body. Let's add a gentle rhythm, an invitation, not a rule. Let us inhale to a slow count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold the breath, but not with tension. A gentle, suspended pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, a long, full, complete exhale to a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let it all go. And again, a gentle inhale, filling the body with life, with presence. A soft pause, a moment of equilibrium. And a long, slow exhale, releasing everything that you no longer need to carry, releasing the day, releasing the tension. Feel this rhythm as a tide within you. Your breath is the ocean of life, and your body is the shore. With every inhale, a gentle wave of oxygen and vital energy washes over you, from your toes to the crown of your head, nourishing every cell, bringing a sense of expansion and possibility. And with every exhale, the wave recedes, drawing back out into the great ocean, carrying with it the metabolic waste, the tension, the worry, the echoes of the day. The inhale is a gathering. The exhale is a letting go. Imagine the sands of your inner being cluttered with the debris of the day. With each rhythmic wave of breath, the shore is washed clean. The sharp edges of worry are smoothed over. The frantic footprints of thought are erased. There is nothing for you to do but to be the shore and to allow this tide to work its gentle, persistent magic. The mind will wander away. This is not a failure. It is simply what minds do. It will drift into a memory, a plan, a sound in the house. When you notice that your attention is no longer on the breath, that is a moment of victory. That moment of noticing is a moment of mindfulness. In that moment, without any judgment or frustration, you gently acknowledge where the mind has gone, and then you kindly, patiently escort your attention back to the anchor, back to the feeling of the inhale, back to the feeling of the exhale. Each return is a strengthening of your muscle of presence. Each return is a radical act of self-compassion. Continue with this. Let the breath breathe you. Let go of the need to control it and simply become fascinated by it. Feel the subtle movements it creates in your body, the rising and falling of the chest and belly. Feel the life force in it. This tide, this gentle rhythmic washing, does more than calm the mind. As it flows through you, it begins to illuminate the inner landscape of your body. As the breath deepens and slows, as you become more present, you may start to notice things you were too busy to feel before. You might feel a tightness in your shoulders, a knot in your stomach, a tension in your jaw. The anchor of the breath, in its gentle wisdom, does not just hold you in place. It reveals what needs to be released. It shows you the places where the inner tide is blocked, where the energy cannot flow freely. It shows you the armor you have been carrying without even realizing it. And now, anchored in the safety of the present moment, we have the courage to turn our awareness toward this armor, not to fight it, but to gently, lovingly allow it to melt. The deep, rhythmic tide of your breath has done its work. It has anchored you in the present moment, and it has begun to illuminate the inner landscape of your physical form. As this gentle light of awareness spreads, you begin to see what was previously hidden in the shadows of busyness and distraction. You see the tension. You may feel it as a familiar tightness in your neck and shoulders, a solid wall of resistance. You may notice it as a subtle clenching in your jaw, or a knot deep within your belly. Do not be discouraged by this discovery. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are finally beginning to listen. This tension is an armor you have built, piece by piece, over many years. Each piece was forged in a moment of difficulty, a moment when you needed to be strong, to hold yourself together, to push through pain or fear. This armor served you, it protected you, and we must honor its service. But the battle is over, at least for tonight, and carrying this heavy, rigid armor into the sacred land of sleep is an unnecessary burden. Tonight, we will learn to gently, lovingly set it down. Your body is a silent historian. It keeps a perfect, unbiased record of your entire life. It does not think in words, but in feelings, sensations, and tensions. Every time you swallowed your anger instead of expressing it, your jaw and throat remembered. Every time you shouldered a responsibility that felt too heavy to bear, your neck and shoulders took on the physical weight. Every moment of fear, every pang of grief, every wave of anxiety that you didn't have the time or space to fully feel did not simply vanish. It was stored. It was absorbed into your muscles, your fascia, your very tissues. The body keeps the score. This is why you can feel a deep, nameless exhaustion that has no apparent cause. It is the cumulative weight of 1,000 unfelt feelings, 1,000 unresolved moments, all held as chronic tension in your physical form. To live from the neck up, to treat the body as a mere vehicle for the mind, is to ignore the wisest librarian you will ever know. It is to walk through a house while ignoring the messages written on every wall. And so we find ourselves in a subtle conflict. A part of us, conditioned by a lifetime of habit, wants to continue ignoring these signals. We want to distract ourselves, or perhaps numb the discomfort. Another, deeper part of us, the part that yearns for wholeness, knows that the only way out is through. It requires a quiet courage to turn your awareness inward and willingly feel what is there. Not to judge it, not even to fix it immediately, but simply to meet it, to be present with the sensation of tightness, to acknowledge the stored history without needing to relive the story. This is the path of making peace. For the core message is this: your body is not a machine that has malfunctioned. It is a living, breathing part of nature, as wise and as miraculous as a forest, as a river, as the earth itself. You cannot find true peace in your mind if your body remains a battlefield. The mind and body are not two separate things, but a single, unified field of intelligence. To bring peace to one, you must bring peace to both. Healing the mind begins with making peace with the body. We will do this now, through a gentle journey of awareness, a body scan. There is no goal here, other than to notice, to feel, and to be present. We will use the breath as our guide, as the carrier of our warm, accepting attention. Let us begin at the very bottom, with your feet. Bring your soft focus to your toes. You may not feel much at all, and that is perfectly fine. Simply rest your awareness there. Notice any sensations: tingling, warmth, coolness, pressure against the covers. Now, with your next inhale, imagine you could send the breath all the way down your body, into the soles of your feet. And with the exhale, imagine a wave of softness, of release. Letting go of the need to stand, to walk, to run. Your feet have carried you all day. Now, they can rest completely. Allow this feeling of softness to move into your ankles, releasing all the tension of flexion and movement. Let your feet be limp, heavy, and at ease. Now, bring that gentle awareness up into your lower legs, your calves, and your shins. This is an area where we often hold tension from bracing against the world. Just notice what is there: tightness, soreness, or perhaps a pleasant sense of heaviness. Breathe into your calves, and as you breathe out, give them permission to soften, to release their grip, to melt into the surface beneath you. Let the wave of awareness and release continue up into your knees, and then into the large, powerful muscles of your thighs. These muscles work so hard for us. Breathe into them a message of gratitude. And with the exhale, let them go completely. Feel the full weight of your legs, heavy, warm, and deeply relaxed, sinking into the mattress. They are no longer your responsibility. They are being held. Your awareness now gathers in the area of your hips, your pelvis, and your buttocks. This is a deep bowl in the body, a center of gravity where we often store very old, very deep-seated emotions and tensions. Do not try to analyze anything. Simply feel. Notice the solid contact with the bed. Breathe into this entire area, a deep, gentle breath. And with a long, slow exhale, feel a profound letting go. Imagine stubborn knots gently unspooling. Imagine frozen rivers of tension beginning to thaw and flow. Release your hips. Let them be soft and open. From this base, let your awareness flow upward into your belly. For many of us, the belly is a place of vulnerability and anxiety. We tighten it to protect ourselves. For now, let that protection go. Allow your belly to be soft, to be unguarded. Feel the gentle, natural movement of your breath here. The soft rise on the inhale, the gentle fall on the exhale. This is the rhythm of safety. Breathe into this softness. Let your internal organs rest. Let go of all the knots of worry that you hold here. Travel further up into your chest, the home of your heart and lungs. Feel the expansion on the inhale, the feeling of space being created around your heart. And on the exhale, feel a softening. Let your heart be at ease. There is nothing to defend against right now. You are safe in this moment. Now, let your attention drift through to your back, the great pillar of your body. Start at the lower back, an area that so often carries strain. Breathe warmth and space into your lower back. With each exhale, imagine the vertebrae gently separating, the muscles lengthening and releasing. Allow this wave of release to travel up your spine, through the middle back, all the way to the area between your shoulder blades, another great warehouse of tension. Let the shoulders themselves begin to drop away from your ears. Let them become wide, heavy, and melted. Bring your awareness down your arms to your hands. Your hands, the tools of doing, of holding on, of fixing. Notice your hands. Are they clenched? Are the fingers tense? Let them be open and soft. Feel the air on your skin. With your exhale, let a wave of release flow all the way down your arms, through your elbows, your wrists, and out through your fingertips. Your hands have done enough for today. They can be still. Finally, we arrive at the neck and the head. Bring your attention to the column of your neck, which works so tirelessly to hold up the heavy weight of the head and the thinking mind. Gently, on an exhale, allow the muscles of your neck to soften. Let your head feel heavy and fully supported by the pillow. There is no effort needed. Now, Bring your awareness to your face. The face is a landscape of subtle emotions. Notice your jaw. Is it clenched? Consciously allow a tiny space to appear between your upper and lower teeth. Let the tongue rest softly in the bottom of your mouth. Let your lips be soft. Let the tiny muscles around your eyes release. Let the eyes themselves feel heavy and still in their sockets. Soften your forehead. Let it become smooth and wide, erasing all the lines of concentration and worry. And finally, bring your awareness to your scalp, letting a final wave of softness and release wash over the very top of your head. Now, for a moment, feel your entire body as one single unified field of sensation, heavy, warm, soft, and still. Your body is a landscape, and the harsh, jagged mountains of tension have been softened by the gentle winds of your awareness. The frozen rivers have begun to flow. Sunlit meadows of ease have appeared. You have not blasted the mountains into submission. You have simply allowed them to be, and in that loving allowance, they have begun to soften. From this place of deep physical rest, this quiet and peaceful landscape of the body, we can turn our attention back to the mind, but we do so with a new perspective. We are no longer observing the restless mind from within a restless body. We are observing it from a place of grounded stillness. And from this stable vantage point, we can look upon the activity of the mind with even greater clarity and compassion, seeing the ultimate illusion of its midnight dramas. Your body rests, a quiet and peaceful landscape. The rocky mountains of tension in your shoulders have softened into rolling hills. The frozen rivers in your limbs have begun to thaw. You are anchored in this place of physical stillness, and from this stable ground, you observe the weather of your mind. For the thoughts have not necessarily vanished. A cloud may still drift across the horizon. A distant flicker of lightning may still flash. But your relationship to them has fundamentally changed. You are no longer a small boat being tossed in the storm. You are the deep, quiet earth, watching the weather change from a place of profound stability. And from this vantage point, you can begin to see the great illusion that holds so many of us captive in the lonely hours of the night. This is the illusion of solving. It is the deeply ingrained belief that you can and must think your way to peace. A problem arises in your mind, a financial worry, a relational conflict, a fear about your health, and an immediate, compulsive energy rises with it. It is the energy of the fixer, the strategist, the problem solver. This is the aspect of your mind that serves you so well during the day. It is logical, analytical, and action-oriented. But the mind that operates at midnight is a different creature entirely. The midnight mind is not your clear-headed daytime executive. It is an overtired, emotional, and profoundly unreliable narrator. It is a mind fueled by the primal anxieties that surface when the distractions of the day have faded. It has lost its perspective. In the darkness, it magnifies every fear, distorts every memory, and transforms minor concerns into existential threats. To engage this mind in problem solving is like trying to perform delicate surgery on yourself in a dark room during an earthquake, using blunt instruments. You are far more likely to cause damage than to find a solution. You are not thinking, you are merely worrying in a more structured way. This gives rise to a powerful inner conflict. The ego, your sense of self, insists on control. It believes its survival depends on figuring everything out, on having a plan for every contingency. The vast, dark uncertainty of the night feels threatening to the ego, and its response is to generate endless thought loops, desperately seeking the certainty of a solution. I cannot rest until I solve this, it declares. If I just think about it hard enough, I will find the answer, and then I can have peace. This is the ego's great lie. It equates thinking with safety. It equates control with peace. But there is a deeper wisdom within you, a quiet, intuitive knowing that understands the truth. This wisdom knows that some answers cannot be found by a tired mind. It knows that true clarity does not come from frantic thinking, but from a state of rest. It understands the healing power of surrender. The conflict, then, is between the ego's fearful need to control and the soul's deep, trusting wisdom to let go. It is a battle between fighting the night and allowing the night to heal you. The great ray of light that cuts through this conflict is a radical reframing of a thought's purpose. The purpose of a thought that arises at night is not to be solved, it is to be seen. It is a messenger from your deeper self, a flare sent up from the subconscious to illuminate something that needs your attention. When a worry about money appears, its purpose is not for you to create a detailed budget at 3 in the morning. Its purpose is to show you, with loving clarity, here is a place where you are holding fear. Here is an attachment to security that is disturbing your peace. When a memory of a painful conversation arises, its purpose is not for you to rewrite the script and punish yourself with what you should have said. Its purpose is to show you, here is a place that still needs forgiveness. Here is a wound that is asking to be healed. If you immediately jump into solving mode, you miss the profound gift being offered. You get lost in the content of the story, and you miss the deeper message. The healing is not in the answer, the healing is in the seeing. You are being shown, with perfect precision, what you must learn to let go of in order to be free. So how do we practice this? We practice it with a tool of gentle, compassionate wisdom. The tool is called sacred postponement. This is not the same as suppression or avoidance. Suppression is when you violently push a thought away, which only gives it more energy to push back. Sacred postponement is an act of honoring the thought while also honoring your need for rest. It is a calm, conscious agreement you make with your own mind. When a significant worry appears, you meet it with gentle awareness. You acknowledge it. Ah, I see you. Thought about the upcoming presentation. I see the anxiety you are carrying. You validate its importance. I understand that this feels urgent and that my mind wants to work on it right now. Then, you make a sacred appointment with it. I will give you my full, undivided, clear-minded attention tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. This is a promise. But this time, between now and the morning light, is sacred. This is the time for rest, for healing, for release. Your concerns will be heard, but they will not be heard now. In doing this, you are like a wise ruler dealing with an anxious courtier. You do not banish them, which would cause rebellion. You listen respectfully, and then you schedule a proper meeting, reassuring them that their petition will be addressed at the appropriate time. You reclaim your authority over your own mental space. This practice is made possible when you remember your true nature. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which your thoughts appear. The most profound metaphor for this is the sky and the clouds. Your true self, your consciousness, is the vast, open, limitless blue sky. The sky is always here. It is silent, peaceful, and boundless. It has no edges and no center. It is pure, untouchable presence. Your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, these are the clouds. Some clouds are white and puffy and drift by pleasantly. Others are dark and heavy with rain, full of thunder and lightning. They move across the sky, changing shape, appearing and disappearing. But no cloud, no matter how dark or violent its storm, has ever stained or harmed the sky. The sky allows every cloud to be exactly as it is, and it allows every cloud to pass in its own time. The sky does not cling to the beautiful clouds, and it does not fight the storm clouds. It remains itself, vast, open, and at peace. You are the sky. Your worries are the clouds. To believe that you are your worries is like the sky believing it is a single, dark thundercloud. It is a case of mistaken identity. Feel this now. Feel the reality of your body, heavy and resting. This is your connection to the earth. Now feel the awareness that permeates your body and the space around you. This awareness is the sky. A thought appears, perhaps a worry about not sleeping. See it as a single cloud floating in the vastness of your sky-like awareness. Notice its shape, its texture, its color, its feeling. But notice too the vast, empty, silent space all around it. That space is also you. In fact, that space is more you than the cloud is. The cloud is a temporary event. The space is the permanent reality. Do not try to push the cloud away. Simply rest as the sky. Allow the cloud to be there, and watch as, without the fuel of your resistance and engagement, it eventually begins to lose its solidity. It becomes more transparent. It begins to drift. It eventually dissolves back into the emptiness from which it came. Another thought may come, another cloud. You do not have to do anything. Your job is not to be a cloud chaser or a cloud fighter. Your job is to be the sky. And the sky's job is simply to be aware, to be present, to be at peace. This is the art of witnessing. And to truly master this art of being the sky, we must learn the subtle skill of allowing the clouds to drift by without reaching out and grabbing them. We must learn the gentle art of non-engagement. To be the sky is to know your own boundless nature, to rest in the silent awareness that holds all of life's experiences. And yet, our human conditioning is strong. We are so accustomed to identifying with the clouds that we forget we are the sky. Our habit is to become a cloud grabber. A dark thought appears on the horizon, and instinctively, we reach for it. We pull it closer, we study it, we become entangled with it, and soon we are lost within it, forgetting the vast, peaceful sky that is our true home. The path to freedom, then, is to learn the gentle art of non-engagement. This is not a struggle, not a fight, not an act of will. It is a subtle and graceful release, a letting go that is one of the most profound acts of self-love you can ever perform. It is the art of allowing things to pass. To understand how this works, we must first understand the economy of the mind. Your attention is the most precious currency you possess. It is pure energy, and where you invest this energy, things grow. A thought, when it first arises, is often just a flicker, a tiny, powerless wisp of energy, a seed of potential. If it is met with the empty space of your non-engaged awareness, it has nothing to feed on, and it simply dissolves. It withers for lack of nourishment. But if you seize that thought, if you water it with the energy of your focused attention, if you fertilize it with the rich emotions of fear, anger, or anxiety, that tiny seed can sprout and grow with astonishing speed. It can become a thorny, tangled bush that chokes out the light, a monstrous weed that takes over the entire garden of your mind. A fleeting worry about health, if fed with hours of obsessive attention and fearful speculation, becomes a terrifying monster that feels absolutely real. You have not discovered a monster. You have created it, with the powerful, creative energy of your own attention. Non-engagement is the conscious, deliberate act of withdrawing this fuel source. It is a gentle but firm refusal to feed the phantoms that cry out for your attention in the night. This is not easy, because the reflex to engage is incredibly deep and powerful. It is a conditioned, automatic response. This is especially true of thoughts that carry a negative emotional charge. They are sticky. They have a kind of gravity. This is rooted in our primal survival instincts. Our ancestors survived because they paid very close attention to threats: the rustle in the grass, the shadow in the cave. Our brains are hardwired to prioritize negative or threatening information. A single criticism can outweigh 100 compliments. A single worry can eclipse a field of blessings. And so, when a fearful thought appears in your mind, your entire system, on a deep biological level, latches onto it. Pay attention. It screams, "This is important. This could be a threat." Your body tenses, your heart rate quickens, and your mind is hooked before you even realize what has happened. The inner conflict is between this powerful, unconscious, primal habit of latching on and the quiet, conscious, spiritual desire for peace. The art of non-engagement is the practice of strengthening that conscious desire, making it a more powerful force in your life than the unconscious habit of fear. It is a moment-by-moment choice to value peace over drama, to choose freedom over the familiar prison of your own thinking. You are the gatekeeper of your mind's attention. This is your ultimate power, your ultimate responsibility. You cannot control the world outside. You cannot stop every stray thought, every unwanted memory from knocking at your gate. They are carried on the winds of life, products of your past, your conditioning, your daily experiences. They will arrive. To try and build a wall high enough to keep all thoughts out is an exhausting and impossible task. But you have absolute authority over who you allow inside. You are the sole guardian of the gate. A thought arrives, knocking loudly. "Let me in. I am very important. We must discuss this immediately." You have a choice. You can swing open the gate, invite the thought in, serve it tea, and allow it to stay for hours, talking in frantic, anxious circles while it rearranges your furniture and keeps you awake all night. Or, you can approach the gate calmly. You can look through the peephole, acknowledge the visitor with a calm, silent nod. "I see you," and then keep the gate firmly, but gently, closed. You do not argue with the visitor. You do not shout at it to go away. You simply deny it entry. You withdraw the welcome of your attention. This is the core of the practice. You are not controlling the thoughts, you are controlling the gate. Let us make this real with a simple and beautiful practice. Imagine yourself sitting on the soft green bank of a gently flowing stream. The sun is warm on your skin, the air is still, and the only sound is the quiet murmur of the water. This stream is the stream of your consciousness, the constant flow of thought and sensation. As you sit here in peace, you notice a leaf drop from a tree and land softly on the water's surface. You watch as the current catches it and carries it gently downstream. Another thought arises in your mind. Instead of grabbing it, place it gently on a leaf and let it float by. A thought about something you forgot to do today. Place it on a leaf. Watch it appear. Watch it drift past you. Watch it disappear around the bend in the stream. A memory of a conversation. Place it on a leaf. Let it go. A feeling of sadness. Place it on a leaf. Let the river carry it. Your only job is to remain on the bank. You do not need to know where the leaves come from or where they are going. You do not need to judge them as good leaves or bad leaves. You are simply the silent, peaceful witness on the shore. Inevitably, you will find that you have, without realizing it, jumped into the river. You are soaked, thrashing about, chasing a particular leaf, caught in the current of a story. The moment you notice this has happened, be kind to yourself. This is the key. No criticism. You simply notice, I am in the river. And then you gently, patiently, guide yourself back to the warm, solid ground of the bank. You sit down again, and you wait for the next leaf. This return to the shore over and over again is the practice. This is the gentle art. To strengthen this feeling of stable, witnessing presence, you can also embody the metaphor of a mountain. Feel your own being, your own awareness, as a vast, silent, immovable mountain. Feel your base connected deep within the earth, solid and grounded. Feel your peak reaching into the sky. As a mountain, you sit in profound stillness. The weather of the world changes around you, but it does not change you. The sun of happiness may warm your stone face. The winds of angry thoughts may howl through your valleys. The cold rain of sorrow may fall upon you. The thick clouds of doubt may completely obscure your peak from view. But you, the mountain, are not the weather. The wind does not move you. The rain does not harm your essential nature. The clouds are merely temporary visitors that pass in their own time. The mountain's power lies in its silent, unconditional acceptance of all weather. It allows the sun, the wind, the rain, and the clouds to come and go without resistance. By meeting all experience with this mountain-like stability, you discover a strength within you that you never knew you had. You are not the fleeting emotion. You are not the passing thought. You are the silent, unshakable mountain that witnesses it all. So, rest now in this awareness. Be the mountain. Be the silent witness on the riverbank. When a thought comes, let it come. When a feeling arises, let it arise. You do not need to serve them. You do not need to fight them. You do not need to engage them. You are practicing the sacred art of letting be, of letting go, of letting pass. You are starving the drama and feeding the peace. You are reclaiming your mind by refusing to participate in its frantic illusions. And as you become more established in this quiet, non-engaged presence, you gain the clarity to see the character of the thoughts that arise most often. We can now take this powerful skill and apply it to the most common visitors that knock on our gate. At the end of the day, the fresh ghosts, the living echoes of the day that has just passed. You are resting as the mountain, as the sky. You are sitting on the quiet bank of the river of your mind, practicing the gentle art of non-engagement. You have found a measure of peace, and into this newfound stillness, the first visitors approach the gate. They are the most common and insistent of all nightly callers. They are the echoes of the day that has just ended. They are the fresh ghosts of conversations, the energetic residue of interactions, still warm with the life they possessed only hours ago. A word someone said to you at work, the tone in your partner's voice, a comment you made that you now regret, a conversation that left you feeling misunderstood or incomplete. These are not distant historical events. They are living presences in your mind, and they clamor for your attention. Let us look with gentle curiosity at why the mind does this. Why does it obsessively replay these scenes? In the quiet of the night, your mind often transforms into a courtroom. It calls a specific conversation to the stand. You become the prosecuting attorney, cross-examining your own performance. Why did I say that? That was foolish. I should have been stronger, funnier, wiser. Then you become the defense attorney, making excuses. Well, I was tired. I was caught off guard. You try to become a mind reader, speculating endlessly on the other person's motives. What did they really mean by that look? Were they being sincere? This mental autopsy is a futile attempt by the ego to gain control over a past that is now utterly immutable. The play is over, the curtain has fallen, but the ego stays behind in the empty theater, trying to rearrange the props, hoping to somehow change the performance that has already been given. It is a search for a perfect take in a movie that has already been printed and shipped. It is an exhausting, impossible, and deeply frustrating exercise. This compulsion is fueled by a powerful, unfinished emotional energy. During the day, we are often not fully present in our interactions. We suppress a flicker of annoyance to remain polite. We swallow a feeling of hurt to avoid conflict. We fail to fully express a moment of gratitude or connection. These unfelt emotions do not simply disappear. They linger, and at night, they provide the energetic charge for the mental replay. The mind is not just replaying the words, it is trying to process the emotional charge that was left unresolved. It circles the conversation again and again, like a tongue returning to a sore tooth, hoping to somehow smooth the rough edge, to find a sense of completion, to finally feel heard or understood. This creates a deep inner conflict. There is a part of you that desperately craves closure. You want the story of the day to have a neat and satisfying ending, one in which you feel validated and at peace. But this desire for a perfect narrative clashes with the messy, ambiguous, and often unresolved reality of human life. The conflict is between your mind's craving for a tidy conclusion and your soul's need to accept the world as it is, in all its beautiful imperfection. The message of liberation, the key that unlocks this particular cage, is this: the day is complete. It is a finished work of art. It may be a masterpiece, or it may be a flawed sketch, but it is finished. It cannot be touched up. It cannot be edited. It cannot be rewritten. Its colors have dried. Its form is set. The conversations that took place are now nothing more than vibrations in the memory. To hold on to them, to wrestle with them, to try and change their meaning now, is like trying to catch the wind in a net or hold a river in your fist. It is an act of resistance against the fundamental nature of time and reality, and all resistance creates suffering. The only act that brings peace is the act of release, to let the day be what it was, to let the conversations be what they were. This release is not an act of weakness or resignation. It is an act of profound wisdom and strength. It is you, the gatekeeper, declaring that the business of the day is now officially closed. Let us practice this release now, with a simple and beautiful ritual. Allow a conversation from the day just past to gently come to mind. Choose one that seems to be sticky, one that has some energy left around it. There is no need to force it. Just see which one presents itself at the gate. Now, instead of replaying the conversation, I want you to see the words themselves. See all the words that were spoken, your words, the other person's words. See the words you wished you had said. See the unspoken feelings, the subtle energies, the entire dynamic of the interaction. Imagine you can gather all of this, the words, the tones, the emotions, the regrets, and collect it all into one place. Now, visualize creating a beautiful, shimmering bubble. It is like a soap bubble, its surface swirling with iridescent colors. Gently place the entire conversation, with all of its associated energy, inside this bubble. See it contained there. The words, the feelings, the questions, everything. It is all held safely within the bubble's delicate membrane. For a moment, just observe it, floating there in front of you. Acknowledge it one last time. I see you. I see the energy of this interaction. And now, with a gentle intention, allow the bubble to begin to float upwards. It is no longer your burden to hold. It is lighter than air. Watch as it drifts slowly, silently, up and away from you. It rises into the vast, dark, silent space of the night. Watch it get smaller and smaller, and as it disappears from your sight, you can choose its fate. Perhaps it simply drifts so far away that it vanishes into the infinite darkness. Or perhaps it gently pops, releasing all the energy it contained, not into chaos, but into pure, silent neutrality. The words dissolve. The emotions are neutralized. All that remains is silence. And as you watch it go, feel the corresponding release in your own body and mind. Feel the space that has been created. Feel the lightness where that burden used to be. You have not solved the conversation. You have released it. You have offered it up to the vast silence of the night. This is the art of consciously pressing the stop button. Your mind is like a recording device that has been left on play mode, repeating the same track over and over. This ritual of the bubble is your way of reaching out with calm intention and pressing stop. And then pressing eject. The track is no longer playing. The silence that follows is not a void. It is a clean slate. It is the natural state of your mind before the noise began. If another conversation from the day begins to play, do the same. Be the patient gatekeeper. Acknowledge it. Gently place it in a bubble and let it float away. You may have to do this many times, and that is okay. You are practicing a new skill. You are training your mind in the profound and peaceful art of letting the day be done. You are treating the end of the day as a sacred threshold. You are consciously wiping your feet before entering the temple of the night, leaving the dust and mud of the day's journey outside. With each echo you release, the silence deepens. With each bubble that floats away, your inner space becomes more clear, more vast, more peaceful. You are learning to honor the sacred finality of the setting sun. Just as you cannot command the sun to rise again and give you a second chance at the morning, you cannot command the day to return and give you a second chance at a conversation. Its time is over. Its lessons have been given. Its energy is now in the past. Your place is here, now, in this bed, in this silence. in this deepening peace. You have successfully cleared the echoes of what was. A quiet space opens up, but be aware, the restless mind abhors a vacuum, and often, into the fresh silence created by releasing the past, a different kind of visitor rushes to fill the void. These are not the ghosts of yesterday. They are the anxious ambassadors of tomorrow, carrying lists of demands, worries, and endless plans. And now, we must learn to greet them with the same peaceful, non-engaged wisdom. You have quieted the echoes of the day. You have watched the bubbles of past conversations float away and dissolve into the silent, infinite sky. A space has been cleared, and for a moment, there is peace. But the restless mind, in its search for something to hold on to, often swings like a pendulum from the past to the future. Into the vacuum left by releasing what has been, rush the emissaries of what is to come. These are the anxious ambassadors of tomorrow. They do not carry memories, they carry lists. They do not whisper of regrets, they shout with imagined urgencies. The focus shifts from the autopsy of yesterday to the frantic rehearsal for tomorrow. The mental chatter changes its tense, but not its nature. The question is no longer, why did that happen? But a relentless chorus of, what if? This is the tyranny of tomorrow, a subtle and pervasive form of self-inflicted torment that masquerades as responsibility. The mind presents you with a to-do list, not as a neutral series of tasks, but as a gauntlet of potential failures. Each item a phone call to make, an email to write, a project to complete becomes imbued with a low-grade hum of anxiety. The mind does not stop there. It begins to construct elaborate scenarios, directing and starring you in a series of imagined dramas. It pre-lives the difficult conversation you need to have, feeling the tension in your shoulders as you play out your lines. It rehearses the challenging presentation, feeling the flush of anxiety as you imagine the critical faces in the audience. You are living the stress of these events before they have even occurred. You are expending precious life force on a phantom reality, a future that exists only as a flickering movie projected onto the screen of your mind. This is the illusion of control. The mind believes that by worrying enough, planning enough, and rehearsing every negative possibility, it can somehow tame the wild, unpredictable nature of the future and make it safe. Herein lies the central conflict. A part of you, the part conditioned by a world that values productivity above all else, believes that this nighttime planning is a sign of diligence. It feels like security. If I have a plan, this voice insists, I can finally relax. But this is a false promise. The very act of this frantic, fear-based planning is the enemy of relaxation. It is the thief of peace. The more you chase the idea of future security through mental rehearsal, the more you destroy the experience of present security through mental agitation. The truth is that the peace you seek cannot be found in a perfectly orchestrated tomorrow. It can only ever be found in a complete surrender to the reality of tonight. The conflict is between the false security of the plan and the true sanctuary of the present moment. The message that sets you free is as simple as it is profound. The future is not real. It does not exist. There is no such place as tomorrow. There is only ever now. The tomorrow you are worrying about is a mental construct, a collection of thoughts and images happening in your mind right now. It is a ghost. To invest your energy, your emotion, and your precious sacred time of rest into this phantom world is to abandon the only reality you will ever have. To release your mental grip on tomorrow is not an act of irresponsibility. It is an act of supreme intelligence. It is a recognition that the greatest gift you can give to the person you will be tomorrow is a consciousness that is fully rested, restored, and renewed tonight. By letting go of the phantom future, you give yourself the gift of a real and peaceful present. The practical application of this wisdom is not a complex technique, but a profound shift in your inner posture. It is the cultivation of a radical and courageous trust. First, it is a trust in yourself. Trust the person who will awaken in the morning light. That person having been nourished by deep rest, will have access to clarity, creativity, intuition, and resilience that your tired, midnight mind simply cannot fathom. Your overtired mind is the least qualified version of you to be making plans for your future self. By trying to solve tomorrow's problems tonight, you are disrespecting the capable, intelligent, and well-rested being you are destined to become after a night of peace. Trust that this future self will know what to do. Trust that they will have the right words, the right ideas, and the right strength to meet the moments of the day as they actually arrive, not as you fearfully imagine them now. Second, it is a deeper trust in the process of life itself. You are not the sole architect of your existence, struggling alone to hold every piece in place. You are a part of a vast, intelligent universe. The same power that orchestrates the rising of the sun, the turning of the seasons, and the beating of your own heart without any conscious effort from you, is also at play in the unfolding of your life. Can you relinquish the immense burden of believing you must control everything? Can you trust that this greater intelligence is co-creating your life with you? To release your plans for tomorrow into the care of this intelligence is an act of profound surrender. It is to say, I have done my part for today. Now, I trust the regenerative power of the night, and I trust that I will be given what I need when I need it. Let us use the metaphor of the gardener. You are a gardener, and your life is a garden. A wise gardener understands that there are times for action and times for stillness. There is a time to prepare the soil, to plant the seeds, to water and to weed. This is the work of the day. But the wise gardener also knows that the most crucial part of growth happens in the dark, in the quiet, when the garden is left alone. The seed does not germinate because the gardener is staring at it. It germinates through a silent, invisible, miraculous process that happens in the trusting darkness of the earth. Your frantic nighttime planning is like a foolish gardener who runs out into the field at midnight with a shovel and a flashlight, digging up the seeds to see if they are growing. This desperate need to check on the progress, to control the outcome, does not help. It actively harms the process. It disrupts the sacred, invisible work of germination. Your only task as the gardener of your own being, tonight, is to let the soil of your consciousness rest. Deep, trusting, uninterrupted rest is the most powerful nutrient you can give your garden. The clarity, strength, and inspiration you seek for tomorrow the harvest is entirely dependent on the quality of your soil's rest tonight. Feel this now. Feel the mental burden of tomorrow. Perhaps it feels like a weight on your chest, a tension in your head, a list being scrolled behind your eyes. Acknowledge it. I see you, planning mind. I see your desire for safety. And now, with a conscious, deliberate out-breath, let it go. Physically feel the sensation of dropping a heavy bag from your shoulders. Hand over the blueprint for tomorrow to a power greater than your tired ego. Release the need to know. Release the need to have it all figured out. Rest in the uncertainty. Find the peace that lies not in having all the answers, but in being okay with not having them. Just for tonight, let the gardener sleep. Let the soil be still. Trust in the miracle of the darkness. Trust in the coming of the dawn. As you practice this release, as you let go of your grip on the day that is not yet born, you may notice the silence deepening even further. You have let go of the immediate past and the immediate future. The surface of the lake has become calm, and in this profound quiet, you may become aware of a different kind of presence. Not the light dust of yesterday's conversations, not the misty fog of tomorrow's plans, but something older, heavier, more dense. You may begin to feel the presence of the ancient stones you have been carrying in your pockets for a lifetime. These are the foundational weights of the long-ago past, the unresolved sorrows and resentments that shape the very ground of your being. And to find the deepest peace, we must have the courage to gently turn our awareness toward these as well. Having let go of the day that has passed and the day that is yet to come, a profound stillness can descend. The surface of the mind's lake is calm, and in its clarity, we can now see what lies on the bottom. We become aware of a deeper weight, a more ancient gravity. These are not the fleeting anxieties of tomorrow or the fresh annoyances of today. These are the old stones we have carried in our pockets for years, perhaps for decades. They are the foundational grievances, the bedrock of regret, the long-held sorrows that have shaped the very landscape of our inner world. They are so familiar that we often do not even recognize them as burdens. We mistake their weight for a part of who we are. Tonight, in this safe and silent space, we can have the courage to gently examine these stones, and perhaps to finally set them down. These old wounds operate like invisible magnets, shaping the contours of our present reality. A single harsh word from a partner can trigger a tidal wave of emotion, not because of the word itself, but because it strikes the unhealed bruise of a childhood abandonment. A minor setback at work can feel like a catastrophic failure because it resonates with a deep, ancient belief that you are not good enough. We live our lives through the filter of these unresolved pains, reacting to shadows, fighting old battles in new arenas. The past is not past. It is a living, breathing presence within us, dictating our reactions and robbing us of the freedom to experience the present moment as it truly is. But there is a deeper, more subtle mechanism at play. The ego, that sense of a separate self, is a storyteller, and it often builds its very identity upon the foundations of these grievances. The story of what they did to me, the narrative of my terrible loss, the epic of my struggle, can become the central pillar of who we believe we are. This story gives us a role survivor, the victim, the one who was wronged. It can provide a strange and bitter comfort, a sense of righteousness, even a form of moral superiority. To let go of the grievance can feel, on a deep subconscious level, like letting go of ourselves. If I am not the one who was wronged, who am I? This is the great inner conflict. A deep, wise part of you, your soul, yearns for lightness. It craves the freedom of an open heart, the peace of a clear spirit. It wants to soar. But the ego, attached to its familiar story, clings to the grievance. The pain, though heavy, is known. The prison of resentment, though dark, is a familiar cell with well-worn walls. The freedom that forgiveness offers is a vast, open, and unknown sky. And so, the conflict is between the soul's desperate desire to be free and the ego's terrified clinging to the familiar identity of its own suffering. It is a choice between the known prison and the unknown freedom. To step into this freedom, we must understand what forgiveness truly is and what it is not. Forgiveness has been misunderstood. It is not an act of condoning. It does not mean you are saying that what happened was acceptable, right, or okay. It does not excuse harmful behavior. It does not mean you must forget the event, nor does it necessarily mean you must reconcile with the person who caused you harm. You can forgive someone completely and never choose to see them again. The most vital truth to understand is this: forgiveness is not something you do for the other person. It is an act of profound and radical self-liberation. Holding on to resentment is like drinking a cup of poison every day and waiting for the other person to die. The bitterness, the anger, the replayed scenes, they corrode your own soul. They poison your own peace. They drain your own life force. Forgiveness is the act of putting down the cup. It is you, finally, deciding to drink the antidote. It is you declaring that a past event and a person from your past will no longer be allowed to occupy precious real estate in your mind, rent-free. It is you taking back your power from a memory and reclaiming your right to live fully and peacefully in the only moment that exists, now. Let us use the metaphor of an anchor. Imagine a painful event from your past is a massive, heavy anchor, lodged deep in the mud at the bottom of a murky sea. It is stuck fast. The resentment, the anger, the story you tell about this event is a thick, heavy rope that connects your beautiful ship, your present life, to that unmovable anchor. As long as that rope is attached, Your ship cannot sail freely. It is held back, tethered to the past. Every time you try to move forward, you feel the pull of that old weight, holding you in place. You are trapped. Now, you might think that forgiveness means you have to become a deep-sea diver, go down into the cold, dark water, and single-handedly try to lift that impossibly heavy anchor from the mud. This is a monumental, exhausting, and perhaps impossible task. But this is not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is simply taking a sharp blade, reaching over the side of your own ship, and with one decisive, liberating action, cutting the rope. The anchor can stay in the mud. It is part of the history of the sea floor, but it no longer has any connection to you. It no longer has any power over your vessel. The moment the rope is cut, your ship is free. You are free to sail on the vast, open ocean of the present, powered by the winds of what is possible, not held back by the gravity of what was. We can perform this sacred act of cutting the rope right now. I invite you to gently allow a person, a situation, or even a past version of yourself to come to mind. Choose something that carries the weight of resentment, regret, or unforgiveness. If this is new to you, perhaps start with a smaller stone, not the heaviest boulder. Bring this person or situation into your awareness, holding it in a space of gentle, non-judgmental observation. See them, or the event, in your mind's eye. And now, we will use a silent, three-part mantra. With each phrase, focus on the feeling, the intention of release. Silently, from your heart, say the words, I release you. This does not mean I condone you. It means I release you from the role you have played in my story of pain. I release you from my judgment, my anger, my expectation that you should have been different. I release you from the prison of my resentment. Now, the second phrase, I release myself. I release myself from the heavy burden of carrying this anger. I release myself from the identity of being the victim in this story. I release myself from the repetitive loop of this memory. I release myself from the chains that bind me to you and to this past. And finally, the third phrase, a declaration of truth. I am free. Feel the space that this freedom creates. Breathe into it. I release you. I release myself. I am free. This practice is most powerful and often most needed when we turn it towards ourselves. The heaviest anchor is often the one forged from our own guilt, our own shame, our own regrets about past mistakes. We can be a harsh judge of the person we once were. So now, bring to mind a version of you from the past, a you that you have not fully forgiven. See that younger you with compassion. They were doing the best they could with the awareness, the knowledge, and the resources they had at the time. Look upon them with the kindness you would offer a struggling child, and offer them the same gift. I release you, my past self, from my own harsh judgment. I release myself from the burden of this guilt. I am free to be who I am now, unburdened by who I was then. As you practice this, as you cut these ancient ropes one by one, you may feel an incredible lightness wash over you. The weight in your pockets dissolves. The ship of your life feels buoyant and free. But you may also feel a new and unfamiliar sensation, a sense of emptiness. The old stories, the familiar pains that defined the edges of your identity for so long, are beginning to fade. And in their place, a vast, open space appears. This space is freedom. But to the ego, the part of you that built its entire house on the foundation of those old stories, this vast, empty space can feel like the ground giving way. It can feel like annihilation. This is the last and most subtle territory we must cross. It is the ego's final, terrified stand in the face of its own dissolution. Having cut the ropes to the past, you may now feel a profound lightness. The weight of the old stones is gone. The ship of your being is untethered, but in the space where those heavy grievances once lay, there is now an emptiness. In the silence where the familiar stories once echoed, there is a vast stillness. This sacred emptiness is the clearing in the forest of your mind, the open space of pure potential. It is the peace you have been seeking. And yet, to a part of you, this silent, open space can feel utterly terrifying. It can feel like standing on the edge of a great abyss. It can feel like dissolving. This is the ego's last stand. It is the final, most subtle, and most powerful barrier to complete and lasting peace. To understand this fear, we must first understand what the ego truly is. In this context, the ego is not simply arrogance or pride. It is the entire constructed sense of me. Imagine your identity as a house that you have spent your entire life building. Each memory is a brick. Each belief is a window. Your name, your profession, your relationships, your skills, these are the rooms. Your history of suffering, your grievances, your regrets, these form the very foundation of the house, giving it a sense of solid, historical weight. Your plans and hopes for the future are the roof, stretching out to protect you. This entire structure, this house of me, gives you a feeling of being a solid, separate, identifiable person. It gives you a place to live. All the practices we have engaged in tonight, letting go of thoughts, releasing the past, surrendering the future, have been acts of gently dismantling this house, brick by brick. And as the walls begin to come down, as the roof dissolves, the resident inside the ego panics. It is faced with a primal fear. The fear of homelessness, the fear of having no structure, the fear of being nothing at all. This is a spiritual vertigo, a moment of profound disorientation when the identity you thought was you begins to crumble. This precipitates the ultimate inner conflict. On one hand, there is the soul's deep and powerful longing for the peace of this open space. It is a pull towards the infinite, a yearning for the freedom of no mind, a desire to merge with the boundless reality you have begun to taste. But on the other hand, there is the ego's visceral biological terror of its own death. It equates the dissolution of its structure with your actual annihilation. The ego cannot imagine an existence outside of its own self-made house of stories. So it screams, "Danger! Turn back! Rebuild the walls. Think a thought, remember a grievance, make a plan-do, anything to feel solid again." The conflict is between your deepest spiritual longing for liberation and your conditioned psychological fear of losing yourself. It feels like a choice between peace and survival, but this is the ego's most clever illusion. Here lies the most liberating truth you may ever encounter. You are not the house. You were never the house. You are the infinite, conscious space in which the house was built. You are not your story. You are the silent, loving awareness that is, and always has been, witnessing the story unfold. To lose the story is not to die. It is to finally awaken from the dream of limitation. It is to realize that what you truly are cannot be contained in a house of thought. What you are is boundless, timeless, and indestructible. The awareness that is looking through your eyes right now existed before your first memory was formed and will exist long after your last thought has faded. It is the one constant in a universe of change. The dissolution of the ego is not an annihilation. It is a homecoming. It is a return to the vast, peaceful, powerful ocean of consciousness that you have always been. So, how do we navigate this moment of fear? We do not fight it. We do not try to think our way through it. Instead, we use a simple, powerful question, a tool of self-inquiry designed not to find an answer, but to shift our entire perspective. When the fear of dissolving arises, when a wave of panic washes over you, simply ask this question, silently, within yourself. Who is aware of this fear? Or when a thought appears, who is aware of this thought? Do not look for a verbal answer. The mind will rush in and say, "Well, I am." But that is just another thought. Instead, let the question do its work. Let it turn your attention back upon itself. In that instant of asking, "Who is aware?" you are no longer lost in the fear. You have stepped back from it. You have become the awareness that is watching the fear. You have shifted your identity from the temporary emotion to the timeless, witnessing presence. The question acts like a switch on a railway track, shifting the train of your consciousness from the track of being identified with thought and feeling to the track of being the witness of thought and feeling. Practice this. A thought appears. Who is aware of it? A feeling arises. Who is watching it? Each time you ask, you are strengthening your connection to your true self, the silent watcher, the peaceful sky. We can also understand this through the metaphor of a shadow. The ego is like your shadow. A shadow can seem very real. It has a distinct shape, it follows you everywhere, and it moves when you move. If you were born in a world of dim light, you might even believe that you are your shadow. You might become fascinated by its shape, frightened when it grows long and distorted, and try to grab it or run away from it. But a shadow has no substance of its own. It is not a thing. It is simply an absence of light. It is a place where the light is being temporarily blocked by a solid object. The ego, this constructed sense of me, is a shadow. It is the shadow cast by your mind and body, blocking the pure, infinite light of your true nature, which is consciousness itself. All our spiritual practice is not about fighting the shadow. To fight a shadow is a mad and pointless game. The work is simply to turn and face the light. When you turn your attention away from the fascinating, dramatic, and ultimately insubstantial shadow of your ego, and instead turn it towards the source of all light, the silent, ever-present awareness within you, the shadow naturally and effortlessly falls behind you. You don't have to destroy it. You don't have to defeat it. You simply cease to give it your attention, and in doing so, you rob it of its seeming reality. So in this moment, if you feel that fear of nothingness, that vertigo of the dissolving self, meet it with this new understanding. Do not resist it. See it as a good sign, a sign of profound progress. It is the death rattle of a false identity. Welcome it as you would welcome the thawing of a long winter. Feel the fear, but know that you are the vast, silent space in which the fear is happening. You are the mountain, and this fear is just a fierce wind blowing through. It cannot shake your foundation. It cannot harm your essential nature. Allow it to be here. Ask the question, who is aware of this? And rest in the silence that follows the question. Rest in your true nature as the witness, the space, the light. To stand in this open, liberated space, to be comfortable with the falling away of the old, rigid structures, requires that we learn a new way of moving through the world. We must learn to abandon the rigid resistance of the rock and adopt the graceful, yielding strength of water. We must learn the sacred art of surrender. And for this next, most vital lesson, we turn to the wisest and gentlest of all teachers, the element that knows, above all else, how to flow. You stand in the vast open space created by forgiveness and release. The house of your old identity has dissolved, and the ground beneath your feet can feel uncertain. The ego, in its fear of this emptiness, wants to build again, to resist, to become solid and defined. But there is another way, a way not of resistance, but of surrender, a way not of being the rigid rock, but of becoming the flowing water. For this next part of our journey, we turn to the wisest and most patient of all teachers, the element that has perfected the art of letting go. We turn to water, and we learn its secrets. The fundamental physics of suffering are incredibly simple. Suffering is not created by the event itself, it is created by our resistance to the event. A more direct equation would be pain multiplied by resistance equals suffering. Pain, in its many forms, physical, emotional, mentalis, an inevitable and natural part of a human life. It is the signal that something needs attention, that a boundary has been crossed, that a lesson is to be learned. Suffering, however, is the extra layer of agony we add on top of the pain when we fight against the reality that the pain is here. It is the tension, the anger, the despair, the frantic storytelling that begins with 4 simple words. This shouldn't be happening. The moment you argue with reality, you create friction. You create suffering. You are a rock, bracing yourself against the inevitable flow of the river of life. Acceptance is the cessation of this argument. It is not a passive, defeated resignation that says, "I give up." It is an active, courageous, and supremely wise engagement with the present moment that says, "This is what is here now. I will not waste my life force fighting the fact of its existence. I will meet it with softness and clarity, so that I may respond to it with grace." Observe your own instinct. When an uncomfortable feeling arises, a pang of loneliness, a spike of anxiety, a wave of grief, what is your immediate, unconscious reaction? For most of us, it is to brace. We physically clench our muscles. We hold our breath. Our mind immediately begins a strategy of resistance. I have to get rid of this feeling. How can I fix this? I need to distract myself. We become hard, solid, and resistant. We become a rock. This bracing, this resistance, does not make the feeling go away. In fact, it often intensifies it, giving it a solid wall to push against. It keeps the painful energy trapped within our system. The way of water is the opposite. The way of water is to meet hardness with softness. It is to consciously soften the edges of your body and mind around the discomfort. It is to breathe into the center of the difficult sensation, not to push it away, but to create space around it. It is to allow the unwanted guest to be in the room, knowing that without your resistance, it has no power to stay forever. The core message tonight is to embody the wisdom of water. Think of its nature. Water does not fight. If it meets a great boulder in its path, it does not waste its energy trying to smash through it. It yields, it parts, flowing effortlessly around the obstacle on both sides, and rejoins itself on the other side, its journey uninterrupted. It has lost nothing. It has simply adapted to what is. If it comes to a cliff, it does not fear the fall. It becomes a waterfall, an expression of breathtaking beauty and power in its very act of surrender to gravity. Water takes on the shape of any vessel it is poured into. It does not complain that the cup is too wide or the vase is too narrow. It simply fills the space it is given, perfectly and without argument. This is the practice of accepting the shape of the present moment, whatever it may be. And most profoundly, the power of water lies in its softness. As the ancient sages taught, the softest thing in the universe can overcome the hardest. A constant, gentle stream of water can wear away the most formidable stone, not through force, but through persistence and yielding. This is the invincible strength of non-resistance. Let us practice this now. I invite you to bring to mind something in your life that you are currently resisting. It could be an anxious thought that keeps returning. It could be a physical pain in your body. It could be a difficult life circumstance. Do not choose the biggest boulder of your life, just a simple, solid rock of resistance. First, feel how you are bracing against this rock. Notice the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your belly, the argument in your mind. Feel the hardness of your own resistance. Now, we are going to perform a shift in identity. You are no longer the hard, solid person fighting the rock. You are the water of awareness itself. Imagine your consciousness as a clear, cool river. The thought, the feeling, the pain, this is the rock, sitting in the middle of your riverbed. Instead of trying to dislodge the rock, allow the waters of your awareness to flow around it. Feel your attention soften at the edges, parting and moving past the obstacle on all sides. The rock is still there, yes, but it is no longer blocking your entire flow. You are creating space around it. You are encompassing it with your fluid, watery presence, but you are not getting stuck on it. The main current of your being, the deep flow of your life force, continues its journey downstream, undisturbed. Breathe and feel this flow. The rock is there, but you are flowing past it. There is no struggle. There is only the rock and the water that flows around it. We can now expand this metaphor to encompass our entire life. Imagine your life is a great, wide river, flowing from a mysterious source towards a vast, unknown ocean. For most of our lives, We are in a small rowboat on this river, and we are paddling furiously against the current. The ego is the frantic rower. It has a map of where it thinks the river should go. It fights the natural flow, trying to get back upstream to a moment in the past it preferred, or trying to wrestle the boat over to a bank that looks safer or more appealing. This struggle is constant, exhausting, and ultimately futile. The river of life is far more powerful than the frantic paddling of our small ego. Surrender is the moment of supreme wisdom and sanity when we finally stop. We see the futility of our struggle. We pull the oars, dripping, into the boat. We take a deep breath, and we gently turn our small vessel around to face downstream, in the same direction as the current. We drop the oars, we lie back in the boat, and we allow the great, intelligent, powerful current of life to carry us. We do not know the exact path it will take. We do not know what lies around the next bend, but we trust. We trust that the river knows the way to the ocean. We trust that this flow is carrying us towards our ultimate destination, towards wholeness, towards home. Feel this surrender in your body now. Let go of the oars. Stop fighting the current of this present moment. Stop arguing with what is. Let your body become like water. Feel the tension in your muscles melting like ice in a stream. Feel the hardness in your attitudes softening. Feel your breath as a gentle, internal current, flowing without effort, washing through you, cleansing and calming. You are no longer bracing against the night. You are flowing with it. You are no longer fighting your thoughts. You are allowing the river of your mind to flow without needing to control its course. This is the peace of surrender. It is not weak. It is the source of all true strength. As you cease your inner struggle, as you allow yourself to be carried by this gentle current of acceptance, the roar of resistance fades. The sound of your own internal argument goes quiet. And in this new, profound silence, you may begin to perceive a different kind of sound, a different kind of feeling. It is not a noise, but a hum. It is the subtle, resonant frequency of existence itself. It is the vibration of stillness. You are floating in the river of life, no longer fighting the current. The roar of your own resistance has faded into a profound quiet, and in this quiet, you begin to perceive something new. It is not a thought. It is not an emotion. It is a feeling, a sensation that underlies everything. It is a gentle, pervasive hum, a subtle vibration. This is the sound of stillness itself. It was always here, but your own inner noise was too loud to allow you to hear it. It is the baseline frequency of the universe, the resonant hum of pure existence, and it is welcoming you home. Everything in the known universe is a form of vibration. The chair you sit on, the light from a distant star, the cells of your own body, all are energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your inner state is no different. Think of the feeling of anxiety. It has a distinct frequency, does it not? It is a fast, jagged, chaotic vibration. It feels like 1,000 frantic, dissonant strings all being played at once. It is the frequency of static, of a radio caught between stations, and it is exhausting. Now, think of the feeling of deep love or profound gratitude. That too is a frequency, but it is a slow, coherent, harmonious wave. It feels like a single, pure, resonant cello note that vibrates through your entire being, calming and restoring everything it touches. For most of our lives, we are unwittingly tuned to the chaotic frequencies of fear, worry, and lack. We have forgotten that our natural state, our factory setting, is the harmonious frequency of peace. This reveals a subtle inner conflict. We say that we crave peace. We long for the deep, resonant harmony of stillness, and yet our nervous systems can become accustomed, even addicted, to the high-energy static of stress and drama. The ego thrives on problems, on conflict, on the jagged frequency of what's wrong. When faced with the deep, simple, quiet hum of pure being, The ego can become bored, restless, and even agitated. It is like someone who has lived next to a noisy factory their entire life. The sudden silence of the countryside can feel deafening and strange. There is a part of us that has forgotten how to be at peace, a part that is afraid of the silence because, in that silence, it can no longer hear the familiar, distracting noise of its own thinking. The conflict is between the soul's deep memory of its harmonious home frequency and the ego's conditioned attachment to the chaotic static it has mistaken for life itself. Here is the message that will retune your entire being. You do not have to create this peace. You do not have to build this frequency. You do not have to achieve stillness. The frequency of peace is the fundamental, omnipresent reality of the universe. It is already here. It is in the space between your thoughts. It is in the silence between heartbeats. It is in the air you are breathing. It is your essential nature. Your work is not to compose a new song. Your work is to simply stop singing the frantic, out-of-tune song of your anxious mind, so that you can finally hear the magnificent symphony that has been playing for you all along. You are not a broken instrument that needs to be repaired. You are a perfect instrument that has merely been tuned to the wrong station. The practice of meditation, of surrender, of stillness, is the act of gently, patiently turning the dial away from the static of the ego and tuning back into the clear, powerful, harmonious signal of your true self. Let us practice this tuning right now. The tool is your own awareness, used not as a thinker but as a listener. Not a listener for words or sounds, but a listener for the presence that underlies them. Begin by listening to the most obvious sounds in your environment without judgment. A distant car, the hum of the house. Let them be. Now, listen beneath those sounds. Bring your attention inward and listen to the more subtle sounds of your own body. You may hear a faint ringing or humming in your ears. Many spiritual traditions honor this as the nada sound, the sound of your own life force. Do not strain to hear it, just be open to it. And now, the most important step, listen to the silence itself. The silence is not a dead, empty void. It is not simply the absence of noise. The silence is alive. It is a living, vibrant presence. It is the canvas upon which all sounds are painted. It is the carrier wave for the frequency of peace. Let your awareness merge with this silence. Feel it not just with your ears, but with your whole body. Feel the silence as a subtle vibration, a hum of deep, resonant stillness. Let it permeate every cell. Imagine that you are a beautiful, finely crafted musical instrument, perhaps a cello. The experiences of your daya, moment of frustration, a flash of fear, a wave of disappointment are, like the careless hands of a stranger, twisting the tuning pegs of your instrument. By the end of the day, your strings are out of tune. Some are too tight, some are too loose. When the mind tries to play a song on this instrument, it produces a jarring, dissonant noise. This noise is the feeling of anxiety, of inner conflict. Now, see your higher awareness, your silent, witnessing self, as the master musician who created you. In this sacred time of rest, the master musician gently picks you up. With infinite love and patience, they begin to retune you. Each conscious breath you take is a subtle turn of one peg. Each thought you let go of without engagement is a pluck of a string to test its note. Each act of surrender is a fine adjustment, bringing you closer and closer to your perfect pitch. The musician is not angry that you are out of tune. They understand that this is simply what happens when an instrument is played in the world. The retuning is an act of love, of restoration, of bringing you back into harmony with yourself and with the great orchestra of the universe. Feel this process happening now. Feel the dissonant chords of your anxiety beginning to resolve. Feel the frantic, jagged vibrations slowing down, becoming smoother, more coherent. Feel your own cellular structure responding to this new frequency, letting go of the tension of the old one. You are being retuned. You are remembering your note. You are remembering your place in the great symphony of being. You are no longer a frantic solo instrument, playing a song of struggle. You are resting back into the magnificent, harmonious, foundational chord of existence itself. This is the vibration of stillness. It is the peace that passes all understanding, because it is not a peace the mind can create. It is the peace that is revealed when the mind becomes still. Rest in this feeling. Bathe in this frequency. Let it heal you. Let it restore you. Let it remind you of who you truly are. As you settle more and more deeply into this resonant field, as you feel yourself vibrating in perfect harmony with the stillness of the all, a new and profound question may begin to surface, not from the mind, but from the silence itself. There is this vibration, and there is the feeling of the vibration. But who or what is this silent, loving presence that is aware of it all? Who is the listener that hears this silent music? The universe is humming a song of stillness, and you are beginning to hear it. You are retuning the instrument of your being, finding your way back to the harmonious frequency of peace. As you rest in this deep, resonant quiet, the question arises from the silence itself, not as a product of the thinking mind, but as a natural unfolding of awareness. Who is it that is listening to this? There is the vibration of stillness, and there is the perception of it. But who or what is the perceiver? This question is not a riddle to be solved. It is a doorway. It is an invitation to turn your attention around 180 degrees and look upon the one who is looking. For your entire life, your attention has been directed outwards. It has been focused on the world of form, on people, on objects, on situations, on your own body, and most relentlessly, on the endless stream of thoughts and emotions that parade through your mind. You have been fascinated by the movie playing on the screen, the drama, the comedy, the tragedy of your life story. You have identified completely with the main character in this movie. You have felt their pain, celebrated their triumphs, and feared their future. But you have forgotten one fundamental truth. You are not the character in the movie. You are the screen itself. You are the silent, empty, conscious space upon which the entire movie of your life unfolds. The character, the person you think you are, is a collection of temporary forms, thoughts, feelings, memories, sensations. It is born, it lives, it changes, and it will pass away. But you, the screen, the silent, witnessing awareness, were here before the movie began, and you will be here long after the credits have rolled. This is the great discovery of all contemplative traditions. There are two dimensions to who you are, the person and the presence. Our suffering arises from a case of mistaken identity. We believe we are only the person. We are lost in the play, identified completely with the actor on the stage. We are so absorbed in our lines, our role, our conflicts with the other actors, that we have forgotten the vast, silent, peaceful auditorium in which the play is taking place. The practice of discovering the inner listener is the act of remembering that you are not just the actor, you are also the silent, loving space of the auditorium itself. It is the act of shifting your identification from the temporary, changing forms of your life to the timeless, unchanging awareness that holds them all. This creates an inner conflict between habit and liberation. The habit of a lifetime is to be the thinker, to be lost in the thought, to be the one feeling the emotion. This is a state of fusion, of identification. The liberating path is to step back and become the awareness of the thought, the witness of the emotion. At first, this feels counterintuitive. The ego insists, but I am sad, I am angry, I am my thoughts. It fights to maintain its fusion with experience, because that is all it knows. But a deeper part of you, the part that has tasted the peace of stillness, knows there is more. It knows that there is a presence within you that remains untouched by any of it. This is the core message, the ultimate sanctuary. There is a part of you that has never been hurt. There is a presence within you that has never known fear. Your body can experience illness. Your mind can be filled with confusion. Your heart can be broken by loss, but the silent awareness that witnesses all of this has never for a moment been disturbed. It remains in a state of profound, unshakable peace. It is like the deep ocean, which is always still, no matter how violent the storms upon its surface. This silent, witnessing presence is your true nature. It is your eternal home, and you can return to it at any moment. The tool for this return is the question we began with, used as a direct inquiry. Let your attention rest on the simple sensation of your own breathing. Feel the air move in and out. Now, ask yourself, silently, what is aware of this breath? Do not look for a verbal answer. Do not let the mind say, I am. That is just another thought. Instead, let the question be a pointer. Let it guide your attention backward, inward, toward the very source of the attention itself. What is this knowing presence that is effortlessly aware of the breath? Feel for it. Sense it. It is not a thing. It is a spaciousness, a stillness, a quiet background knowing. Let's try again. A thought drifts through your mind. Any thought, instead of following it, ask, what is aware of this thought? Instantly, your identification with the thought is broken. You are no longer the thought. You are the awareness watching the thought. In that gap, in that space, is your freedom. This is the practice. You are turning the flashlight of your attention back on itself. And in doing so, you discover that you are not the flashlight. You are the light itself. We can understand this through the beautiful metaphor of a lake. Imagine your consciousness is a deep, clear, still lake. The water itself is your pure, silent awareness. It is naturally peaceful and transparent. The events of your life, every thought, every emotion, every sensation, every person you meet, every experience you have, are the reflections on the surface of the lake. Sometimes, on a calm day, the surface of the lake is like a perfect mirror, reflecting the sky and the trees with flawless clarity. This is a peaceful mind. At other times, the winds of life blow fiercely, and the surface of the lake becomes choppy, turbulent, and agitated. The reflections become distorted and chaotic. This is a troubled mind. Now, most people spend their entire lives trying to control the reflections. They try to smooth the choppy water, to fix the distorted images. They believe that their happiness depends on having only beautiful, calm reflections on the surface of their lake. But the great liberation comes when you realize that you are not the reflections. You are the water. And the essential nature of the water is never, ever touched or harmed by the chaos on the surface. The deepest part of the lake remains perfectly still, even during the most violent storm. Your task is not to control the weather of your life. Your task is to remember that you are the deep, still water, untouched by any storm. Rest as this deep, still water now. A thought may appear, a distorted reflection on the surface. Let it be. You are the water beneath it. A feeling may arise, a ripple of sadness or fear. Let it be. You are the vast body of the lake that holds the ripple. You are not the fleeting experience. You are the eternal space in which all experience happens. Feel the profound peace and safety of this realization. Nothing can harm you here. Nothing can touch you here. You are the silent witness, the loving space, the deathless presence. You are what you have been searching for all along. As you become more comfortable resting as this silent, formless awareness, you begin to lose your fear of emptiness. You realize that what the ego calls nothingness is actually the peaceful and potent nothingness of your true self. It is the unmanifest source from which all things arise. And with this profound realization, you can finally make peace with the physical darkness that surrounds you in your room. You can see it not as an absence of light, but as a perfect outer reflection of your own beautiful, boundless, and formless nature. You are resting as the formless, silent witness. You have discovered that your true nature is not a thing, but a space, not a thought, but the awareness that holds the thought. As you settle into this profound realization, you lose your fear of inner emptiness. You understand that what the ego calls nothingness is in fact the peaceful no-thingness of your eternal self, the source of all life. Now, from this place of inner peace, I invite you to open your awareness to the space around you. Open your awareness to the darkness of the room. See it not as something separate from you, but as a perfect, outer reflection of the boundless, formless nature you have just discovered within. The primal fear of the dark that lives in the heart of humanity is nothing more than the ego's fear of its own dissolution projected outwards. But you are no longer identified with the ego. You are the vast, open sky of awareness, and the night is your brother. For our entire lives, we are conditioned to fear the dark. We see it as a negative, as a mere absence of light. It represents the unknown, the unseen, the realm where we lose the illusion of control that daylight provides. But this is a profound misunderstanding. The darkness is not an absence. It is a presence. It is a fundamental and sacred substance of the cosmos. It is the yin to the light's yang, the necessary counterpart without which life could not exist. Light is for doing, for seeing, for acting, for manifesting. But darkness is for being, for dreaming, for healing, for dissolving. It is the great, silent, restorative ocean into which the busy world of form must sink each night in order to be renewed. We, in our modern world, have become addicted to the light. We fill our days with frantic action and we flood our nights with artificial light, with the blue glare of screens, with constant noise and stimulation. We have become afraid of the stillness, afraid of the dark, because in it we are forced to face ourselves. The inner conflict is between our compulsive habit of filling every empty space and our soul's deep, biological, and spiritual need for the profound regenerative power that only true darkness and silence can offer. The most transformative message of the night is this: the darkness is not empty, it is full. It is not a void, it is a womb. It is the fertile, primordial blackness from which all creation emerges. Before the Big Bang, before the first star ignited, there was the infinite, intelligent, potential-filled darkness. It is the source. To surrender to the darkness of night is to consciously choose to return to the womb of the universe. It is to allow the exhausted, fragmented, and stressed parts of your being to be dissolved, unmade, and then tenderly reformed, whole and new. The night is not a passive waiting period until the sun returns. It is an active, profound, and sacred process of healing and rebirth. When you lie down to sleep, you are not just resting your body. You are participating in a cosmic ritual of renewal. You are allowing the loving, intelligent darkness to hold you, to heal you, and to dream a new world into being through you. Let us enter into a more intimate relationship with this darkness now. With your eyes gently closed, turn your attention to the space behind your eyelids. Your mind might label it black, but let's investigate more closely with the soft curiosity of a poet, not the hard analysis of a scientist. Is it truly a flat, uniform black, or does it have texture, depth? You may perceive it as a rich, deep indigo or a soft, comforting charcoal. It may feel like velvet. Notice if there are subtle, shifting patterns of light and color that dance within this field. These are the phosphenes, the gentle play of your own inner light. Do not try to control them or figure them out. Just observe them as you would observe the stars in the night sky. Now, feel the quality of this darkness. Feel it not as an emptiness you are looking at, but as a substance you are resting in. Imagine it is a soft, weighted, healing blanket, wrapping you in a perfect, safe embrace. Imagine you can breathe this darkness in. Let it fill your lungs, your body, your very cells, with its message of peace, stillness, and profound rest. Befriend it. It is not your enemy. It is your oldest and most intimate friend. The most powerful way to understand this is through the metaphor of the seed and the soil. Imagine you are holding a small, hard seed in your hand. This seed contains the entire potential of a magnificent oak tree. But if you leave this seed on a stone path, under the constant, harsh glare of the sun, it will never grow. The light that it will one day seek is, in this initial stage, its enemy. For the seed to fulfill its destiny, it must be completely surrendered to the darkness. It must be buried in the rich, black, fertile soil. In the total, enveloping darkness of the earth, a miracle happens. Protected from the world, nourished by the unseen forces in the soil, the hard, defensive outer shell of the seed, its ego, begins to soften. It cracks open. It dies as a seed, so that it can be reborn as a sprout. This death of its limited form is absolutely necessary for the birth of its true potential. You, your consciousness, your sense of self, are this seed. The hard shell is the ego identity you have carried all day. The night is the dark, fertile soil. By surrendering to the darkness of your bed, by allowing it to embrace you, you are planting yourself in the sacred ground of renewal. You are allowing the hard shell of your daytime personality to soften and crack, so that the deeper life within you, nourished by the unseen forces of the cosmos, can be reborn. You are not falling into a void. You are planting yourself in the field of grace. Rest in this feeling now. Feel yourself as a precious seed, held safely and lovingly in the dark, fertile soil of the night. There is nothing for you to do. The work is being done for you. The intelligence of the universe is tending to your roots, healing your tired form, preparing you for the morning. Trust this process. There is no need to be afraid of this darkness. It is the source of all life. It is the silent, nurturing mother of all things. Let it hold you. Let it dissolve your sharp edges. Let it wash away the fatigue of the day. Feel its deep, quiet, loving presence all around you and within you. This is not the emptiness of lack. This is the fullness of potential. This is the sacred pause between the notes of your life song. As you rest here, held safely in this rich, dark, fertile soil of the night, you begin to realize that this is not an empty void at all. This is the field of all possibility. This is the sacred ground where the seeds of tomorrow are sown. And you, as the conscious gardener of your own life, have the power to choose which seeds you wish to plant in this potent darkness. This is the true and hidden meaning of karma. You are resting in the fertile darkness of the night, held in the rich, quiet soil of pure potential. You have realized this is not an empty void, but the sacred ground from which tomorrow will be born. In this receptive, open state, you are a conscious gardener, standing at the edge of a pristine field, ready to plant the seeds for the future. And this brings us to the concept of karma. For many, this word is heavy. It is laden with ideas of fate, of cosmic punishment, of a rigid and inescapable destiny, determined by unknown actions in a forgotten past. Let us tonight gently wash this word clean of all its fearful connotations and restore it to its simple, beautiful, and empowering original meaning. The word karma in its Sanskrit origin simply means action. It does not mean fate. It does not mean punishment. It means action. Karma is not a moralistic law imposed upon you by an external judge. It is a neutral, impersonal, and universal law of nature, as fundamental as the law of gravity. The law is simply this: every action has a corresponding consequence. Every cause has an effect. What you plant, you will inevitably grow. It is the universe's perfect and unfailing system of feedback. To see karma as punishment is to live as a spiritual victim, forever looking over your shoulder, afraid of the consequences of a past you cannot change. This disempowering belief creates a reality of fear and helplessness. To understand karma as action is to step into the role of a conscious creator. It is to recognize that while you cannot change the actions of the past, the action you choose in this present moment is the most powerful cause you can ever set in motion. The conflict is between seeing yourself as a prisoner of old karma and realizing you are the creator of new karma, right here, right now. And what is the most fundamental, most powerful, most creative action you can possibly perform? It is not a physical deed. It is not a word you speak. The most potent karmic action you can ever take is the quality of your own consciousness in this moment. Every thought you entertain is a karmic action. It is a seed being planted. Every feeling you nurture is a karmic action. It is water being poured on a seed. A mind that habitually cultivates thoughts of worry, resentment, and fear is actively planting a garden of weeds. By the immutable law of karma, that mind will harvest a life experience filled with anxiety, conflict, and disappointment. It is not being punished. It is simply eating the fruit from the trees it has planted. Conversely, a mind that consciously and deliberately chooses to cultivate thoughts of peace, acceptance, and gratitude is planting a garden of beautiful, fragrant flowers. By that same perfect law, it will harvest a life experience of greater harmony, grace, and joy. This understanding transforms this moment, right now, as you lie on the threshold of sleep. This is not a dead end to the day. This is the most important creative moment of your day. The state of being you cultivate as you drift from wakefulness into the subconscious realm of sleep is the master seed you are planting in the fertile soil of the night. Anxiously replaying the day's events or worrying about tomorrow as you fall asleep is like scattering weed seeds across your pristine field just before the nourishing rains begin. To consciously cultivate a state of peace, trust, and gentle gratitude as you fall asleep is to walk through your garden in the quiet twilight, carefully planting the seeds of the most beautiful flowers, knowing they will be watered all night long by the mysterious and regenerative powers of the universe. The peace you create tonight is the direct cause of the peace you will experience tomorrow. This is karma in its purest form. It is the sacred responsibility of conscious creation. So let us be the wise gardener now. Let us plant a deliberate and beautiful seed of intention. This is not the same as the ego's grasping desire, which comes from a place of lack. An intention born of peace is a gentle release, a trusting surrender of your desire to the greater intelligence of the universe. It is a whisper, not a demand. Bring your awareness to your heart space. Let a feeling of gentle sincerity arise. And now, formulate a simple, silent intention for your rest and for your awakening. Choose one that resonates with you. Perhaps it is, "May my sleep be deep, healing, and restorative," or "May I release all that no longer serves me in my dreams tonight." A powerful intention is, "May I awaken in the morning with a clear mind and a calm heart," or simply, "Peace." Choose your intention. Now, it is not just the words, but the feeling that gives the seed its life. For a moment, try to feel a tiny glimmer of what it is you are intending. Feel a touch of the clarity you will have in the morning. Feel a whisper of the calm that will greet you. Hold that feeling gently, without force. And now, release it. Place that seed of intention into the dark, fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Let it go. Trust that the soil knows exactly what to do with it. Your work is done. The metaphor of the garden is a perfect guide. Your mind is this vast, fertile plot of land. Every single thought is a seed. Throughout the day, the wind of the world blows all kinds of seeds into your garden. Seeds of anger from the news, seeds of insecurity from an advertisement, seeds of judgment from a difficult conversation. You cannot stop the wind. You cannot inspect every seed that lands. This is not your job. Your karmic power as the gardener is not to control the wind, but to choose which seeds you will consciously water with your attention. A weed seed of resentment lands in your garden. You can choose to obsess over it, water it with angry thoughts, and help it grow into a thorny bush. Or you can see it, and then deliberately turn your attention away, denying it the water of your focus. At the same time, you can find a small, precious flower seed of gratitude that has also landed in your garden. Gratitude for the comfort of your bed, for the air you are breathing. And you can choose to pour the life-giving water of your loving awareness onto that seed. You actively cultivate the reality you wish to inhabit. The moments before you fall asleep are the most magical time for this gardening work. The veil between your conscious and your subconscious mind is thin. The soil is at its most receptive. The intentions you plant now go deep. They bypass the critical, doubting ego and are accepted by the vast, powerful, and unquestioning intelligence that orchestrates your being. See this final period of lucidity not as a failure to fall asleep, but as a sacred opportunity. An opportunity to give your final instructions for the night. An opportunity to write the first line of tomorrow's poem. An opportunity to plant a seed of grace. So rest now in the quiet confidence of the wise gardener. You have chosen your seeds well. You have planted them with love. You have trusted them to the darkness. And you can be assured that the universal law of cause and effect, the true and gentle law of karma, will ensure a beautiful harvest. Having planted these potent seeds of peace and clarity in the fertile garden of your mind, you feel a new sense of reverence for the entire process. You realize that for these beautiful flowers to grow, the garden itself must be honored. The sacred ground that holds the mind, the vessel that contains this miraculous process, also deserves our loving attention. We now turn our awareness to this holy ground, this living earth of our physical form, not as a battlefield to be conquered, but as a sacred temple to be cherished. You have planted your seeds of peace in the dark, fertile garden of the mind. You have entrusted them to the quiet wisdom of the night, confident in the universal law of karma, the law of conscious action. Now, feeling this new sense of reverence for the creative process, we turn our awareness to the garden itself. We bring our attention to the holy ground that contains this miraculous soil, the living earth of our physical form. For too long, we have treated this body as an afterthought, a beast of burden, or a project to be managed. Tonight, we change our relationship. We return to the body not to fix it or release its tension, but simply to honor it, to cherish it, and to remember its sacredness. In our modern world, we are taught to see the body as a machine or a battleground. It is a machine to be optimized, fueled, and driven to its limits for the sake of productivity. Or it is a battleground upon which the ego wages its endless wars of self-improvement. We look in the mirror and see only flaws. We criticize its shape, we curse its aging process, we resent its illnesses, we are frustrated by its fatigue. We live in a state of subtle, chronic alienation from our own physical form, treating it as an unruly object that is separate from our true self, the thinking mind. This creates a deep and painful schism within our own being, a constant state of inner conflict where we are at war with the very vessel that gives us life. This habit of judgment is in direct conflict with the soul's deep need to live in a state of loving embodiment. Your soul does not judge your body. It chose this body as its perfect vehicle for this particular journey. Your inner critic, the voice of the ego, whispers a constant litany of complaints. You are not thin enough, not strong enough, not young enough, not healthy enough. This relentless inner monologue is a form of violence. It creates tension, stress, and disease. It turns your own home into a hostile environment. But there is another way, an ancient wisdom that remembers the truth. The truth is that your body is not a machine. It is a miracle. It is a living, breathing microcosm of the entire cosmos, a piece of the earth that has been animated with stardust and consciousness. It is the sacred temple that houses the divine spark of your awareness. The core message, the truth that can heal this painful divide, is this. This body, exactly as it is right now, is the only home you are guaranteed for this entire lifetime. It is your most loyal companion on this journey. From the moment of your birth until your final breath, it will be with you. It works for you tirelessly, performing trillions of intricate, intelligent functions every single second, all without your conscious command. Your heart has been beating faithfully for you your entire life. Your lungs have been drawing in the breath of life, keeping you connected to the world. Your immune system has been silently defending you against unseen threats. To take this miracle for granted, or worse, to treat it with contempt, is the deepest form of spiritual forgetting. To honor your body, to listen to its wisdom, to allow it the deep, restorative rest it is pleading for, is an act of profound spiritual remembering. Let us practice this remembrance now in a simple and heartfelt way. I invite you to gently place one or both of your hands over the center of your chest, over your heart. Feel the physical warmth of your own touch, a simple act of self-comfort and self-love. Close your eyes and bring your full attention to the space beneath your hands. For a moment, just feel. And then, begin to listen for the steady, faithful rhythm of your own heart. Feel its beat against your ribs or in your chest. That is the drumbeat of your life, a song played just for you, every moment of every day. Rest in that rhythm. It is the sound of your own aliveness. Now, from this place of connection, let us offer a silent litany of thanks. You do not need to force any emotion. Simply offer the words silently from a place of sincerity. Silently say, "Thank you, heart, for beating so faithfully, for pumping the river of life through me without ever asking for a day off. Thank you. Thank you, lungs, for breathing for me, for drawing in the air of the world and nourishing every cell of my being. Thank you. Thank you, legs and feet, for carrying me through this world, for giving me the power to stand, to walk, to explore. You can rest now. Thank you. Thank you, arms and hands, for allowing me to create, to hold, to build, to comfort, to connect with the world. Your work for today is done. Thank you. Thank you. Senses me eyes, my ears, my nose, my tongue, my skin for being the beautiful windows through which I experience this rich and astonishing world. You may close for the night. Thank you. Thank you, brain, for your incredible power to think, to learn, to solve. I honor your abilities, and now I give you permission to be still. Thank you. And thank you to every single cell, every organ, every system in this body, for working together in such a complex and beautiful harmony to create the miracle that is me. I am grateful. You are good. You are enough. You may now rest. Feel the gentle wave of appreciation that these simple words can create. You are shifting from criticism to gratitude, from conflict to peace. You are coming home to your own body. This body is a sacred temple, and your consciousness is the deity that resides within its holy walls. During the day, the temple is a busy place. The priests and custodians of your mind, your ego, your inner critic, your planeraire rushing about, lighting incense, chanting mantras, worrying about the state of the building, and polishing the floors. There is much activity, much noise. But the night is the time when all the attendants finally go home. They gently lock the great doors, and a profound silence descends upon the temple. In this holy quiet, the deity that is your true self can finally rest in its inner sanctum, undisturbed. And the very substance of the temple itself, the stones, the pillars, the sacred air can finally undergo its deep, silent process of healing and restoration. By honoring your body tonight, you are declaring it a holy place. You are posting a sign on the door that reads, "Sanctuary, do not disturb." So rest now. Inside this sacred temple of your body, inhabit your own skin with a new sense of reverence and love. Feel the life force, the subtle, intelligent energy that animates you from within. It is a gift of unimaginable generosity. Let go of the need for it to be different, and simply fall in love with it as it is. It is your home. It is your friend. It is a miracle. As you rest in this deep, loving appreciation for the miracle of your own body, a new feeling begins to dawn. This gratitude, so warm and real, cannot be contained within the boundaries of your own skin. It has a natural buoyancy, a desire to expand. It overflows the banks of your personal being and begins to radiate outwards, seeking to embrace more and more of life. This powerful, heartfelt thankfulness for the temple of your body becomes the foundation for a much larger state of being. It becomes the anchor for the profound and transformative gravity of gratitude. You are resting in the holy temple of your body, filled with a new and tender reverence for this miraculous vessel of your life. A feeling of quiet thankfulness has been born in your heart. This feeling, this gentle gratitude, is not content to remain confined within the boundaries of your own skin. It has a natural, expansive quality. It seeks to radiate outwards. Like the warmth from a gentle fire, it begins to fill the room. Gratitude for the body overflows into gratitude for the bed that holds it, for the roof that protects it, for the quiet darkness that allows it to rest. This is the beginning of the final and most powerful anchor for the soul, the profound and unshakable gravity of gratitude. For most of the day, our minds are wired for discontent. It is a primal survival mechanism. The mind is a magnificent problem-solving tool, and so it constantly scans the horizon of our lives, looking for problems to solve. It looks for what is wrong, what is missing, what could be a threat. This is the scarcity mindset. It operates from a baseline of fear and lack. While this may have been useful for our ancient ancestors scanning the savannah for predators, in our modern lives it creates a chronic state of low-grade anxiety, a feeling that things are never quite right. Gratitude is the conscious and deliberate act of rewiring this ancient programming. It is the choice to intentionally shift the focus of your powerful awareness. Instead of unconsciously scanning for what is wrong, you consciously choose to scan for what is right. Instead of focusing on what is missing, you choose to celebrate what is present. On a physiological level, this practice works miracles. It calms the brain's fear center, the amygdala, and activates the neural pathways associated with contentment, well-being, and love. It is a simple and profound truth that it is impossible to feel genuinely grateful and genuinely anxious in the very same moment. They are mutually exclusive vibrations. Worry is the poison, and gratitude is the ultimate antidote. This presents us with a fundamental choice in every moment of our lives. The inner conflict is between the unconscious habit of scanning for problems and the conscious choice of scanning for blessings. The untrained mind is like a faulty spotlight, automatically swinging towards every dark corner, every perceived flaw, every potential danger. It highlights our debts, our loneliness, our fears. Gratitude is the act of becoming the operator of this spotlight. You consciously take hold of it, and with a steady hand, you turn it away from the shadows and shine it on the simple, often overlooked gifts that fill our lives. You choose to illuminate the warmth of your blanket instead of the chill of your worries. You choose to illuminate the steady rhythm of your breath instead of the chaotic rhythm of your fears. You choose to illuminate the simple miracle of being alive, here and now, instead of the imagined problems of tomorrow. The core message is a revolutionary reframing of what gratitude is. We are taught that gratitude is an effect. We believe we will feel grateful when we get the job, when we find the partner, when our problems are solved. We see it as a reward for a favorable outcome. But this is to misunderstand its power. True gratitude is not an effect, it is a cause. It is a state of being. It is an energy that you choose to inhabit and radiate, regardless of your outer circumstances. To feel gratitude for the good you already have is to tune your entire being to the frequency of abundance and well-being. By the universal law of resonance, like attracts like. A being who is vibrating with the energy of thankfulness naturally and effortlessly draws more experiences and circumstances for which to be thankful. Gratitude is not saying thank you for getting what you want. Gratitude is the magnetic force that draws what you need into your life. It is the ultimate act of faith, a declaration to the universe that you trust that what you have right now is enough. Let us practice this now, not as a mental exercise, but as an affair of the heart. Silently, in your own mind, I invite you to name 3 specific things from your day or from your life right now for which you are genuinely grateful. The power of this practice lies in its simplicity and specificity. Do not look for grand, monumental things. Look for the small, quiet miracles you may have overlooked. Perhaps you are grateful for a warm cup of tea you had this afternoon. Bring that cup to mind. Feel its warmth in your hands. Remember the taste. And in your heart, simply say, "Thank you." Perhaps you are grateful for a moment of quiet you experienced today, a brief pause in the chaos. Remember that feeling of peace, and silently whisper, "Thank you." Perhaps you are grateful for the profound comfort of your own bed, the softness of the pillow beneath your head, the weight of the blanket that holds you. Feel that comfort now in your body. Let the feeling of gratitude for this simple, profound comfort wash over you. Thank you. Take a moment. Find your own 3 things. Name them silently. And for each one, let yourself truly feel the warmth, the sincerity of the gratitude in your heart. Feel the quality of this emotion. Unlike the flighty, upward-moving energy of anxiety that pulls you into your head, gratitude has a different quality. It has substance. It has weight. It has a gentle, powerful gravity. It pulls your awareness down out of the chaotic sky of your thinking mind and anchors it firmly and peacefully in the center of your chest, in your heart space. It is the final, most secure anchor for your soul. Anxious thoughts are like helium balloons. They tug at you, trying to pull you up into the abstract and fearful world of what if. But the gravity of gratitude holds you here. It grounds you in the rich, solid, peaceful reality of the present moment. It connects you to your body, to the earth, to what is real. Let this feeling of gratitude be your anchor now. Whenever you feel your mind begin to drift upwards into worry, gently guide it back down to the feeling of gratitude in your heart. This practice creates a beautiful upward spiral. The downward spiral of worry is familiar. A worried thought creates a worried feeling, which triggers more worried thoughts. But gratitude works in the opposite way. When you consciously look for one thing to be grateful for, you will find it. This feeling of gratitude then opens your eyes to see a second thing, and a third. The more you practice looking for the good, the more good you see. The world does not change, but your perception of it does, and in doing so, you change the world you inhabit. You are consciously choosing to walk up the staircase of grace, rather than tumbling down the staircase of fear. Rest now in this deep, warm, heavy ocean of thankfulness. Let it be the last conscious state you inhabit before you drift into sleep. As you rest here, feeling grateful for your breath, for your body, for the silence, for life itself, a beautiful dissolution begins to occur. The line between you, the one who is grateful, and the life you are grateful for, starts to become thin and transparent. The sense of a separate I, who is appreciating a separate world, begins to melt. And you find yourself on the threshold of the ultimate surrender, the ultimate homecoming, the dissolving of the personal self into the vast, loving embrace of universal consciousness. You are resting in the warm, boundless ocean of gratitude. The feeling of thankfulness has expanded beyond the confines of your body, beyond the walls of the room, and has begun to embrace life itself. In this expansive state, a beautiful and mysterious process begins. The line between the observer and the observed, between you and the world, becomes soft and blurry. The sense of a separate I who is feeling grateful for a separate that starts to dissolve. The knot of personal selfhood, which you have spent a lifetime tying and defending, begins to spontaneously, effortlessly untie itself. You are standing on the threshold of the ultimate homecoming, the dissolving of the separate self into the loving, intelligent, and unified field of universal consciousness. The deepest illusion of a human life is the feeling of being separate. We experience ourselves as a skin-encapsulated ego, an isolated island of consciousness, looking out at a world that is fundamentally not me. We spend our lives protecting this island, fortifying its shores, and waving frantically to other islands in the distance, hoping to feel a little less alone. This feeling of separation is the root cause of all our fear, our loneliness, and our suffering. But all the great spiritual traditions whisper the same secret. This separation is an illusion. At your deepest level, you are not a separate island. You are not even a part of the ocean. You are the entire ocean. The longing you feel for love, for connection, for purpose, is simply the ocean's longing to remember itself. It is the universe's desire to awaken from its dream of fragmentation and return to the reality of its own oneness. This moment, right now, is an invitation to awaken from that dream. Yet, even as your soul yearns for this reunion, a final conflict may arise. It is the echo of the ego's fear of nothingness, a subtle hesitation at the edge of the great dissolution. It is the moment the caterpillar must fully surrender its caterpillar nature to become the butterfly. It is the moment the drop of rain, having journeyed down the river, finally reaches the sea and hesitates for a split second before merging with the vastness. It is the final conflict between the habit of being a someone, a defined and limited entity, and the profound, liberating peace of being everything and no thing all at once. The core message that allows you to take this final step is one of simple, beautiful truth. You are a wave on the ocean of consciousness. For a time, a wave has a unique existence. It is born from the swell, it gathers form and momentum, it travels across the surface. It has a beautiful, individual life. It might look at other waves and see them as separate from itself. But what is the true nature of a wave? Is it its temporary shape, its fleeting journey, number? The true and eternal nature of the wave is water. It is, and always has been, 100% pure ocean. Its waveness is a temporary expression of its oceanness. And when its journey is complete, it does not die. It simply relinquishes its temporary form and merges back into the boundless, peaceful, powerful ocean that is its true source, its true home, its true identity. This is not an end. It is a release from the effort of being a separate wave. It is a joyful surrender back into the totality of your own being. Sleep, in its deepest sense, is this nightly merging. It is the wave returning to the ocean. Let us practice this dissolution now. Let us allow the wave to return home. Begin by feeling the physical boundaries of your body. Feel where your skin meets the air or the sheets. Now, imagine that these boundaries are beginning to soften. Imagine they are becoming permeable, like a fine mist. With each exhale, feel your own personal energy field gently expanding, gently merging with the energy of the room around you. Dissolve into the silence. Melt into the darkness. Feel the boundary between you and the room disappearing. There is no longer a body in a room. There is only a single, unified field of peaceful, still energy. Now, feel your awareness sinking downwards. Feel yourself merging with the vast, solid, stable energy of the planet Earth beneath you. Feel your connection to its deep, quiet strength. You are not just lying on the earth, you are the earth. Your substance is its substance. Its stability is your stability. Finally, let your awareness expand upwards and outwards. Feel it drift through the roof, up into the vast, silent, star-dusted night sky. Merge with the immensity of the cosmos. Feel your consciousness as one with the consciousness of the stars, the galaxies, the infinite, intelligent space between them. The small, personal I is gone. All that remains is this vast, peaceful, all-encompassing awareness. You are the drop of rain that has completed its journey. You fell from the sky. You landed on a leaf. You trickled down a branch. You joined a stream, and then a river. You have had a wonderful, individual adventure. But now, the sun has warmed you, and you are evaporating. You are rising. You are losing your separate form as a drop, and you are returning to become one with the great, creative, powerful cloud from which you came. You are not lost. You are home. You have rejoined the whole. The burden of being a separate, individual drop is gone. Rest in this state of boundless, unified being. There is no you left to have a problem. There is no I left to be afraid. There is no separate self left to protect or defend. There is only this oneness, this peace, this silent, loving, all-embracing consciousness. It is what you are. It is what everything is. There is a profound safety here, a profound relief. The exhausting work of being someone is over, at least for tonight. You have surrendered the small self, and in doing so, you have gained the entire universe. You are not in the universe is in you. You are not looking at the stars, you are the starlight. You are not feeling the peace, you are the peace. As you float in this boundless ocean of being, free from the confines of the small self, a profound peace settles. You are home. Yet, sometimes, even as the master of the house has surrendered, a single, loyal guard remains at his post out of sheer habit, unwilling to rest. There is one final layer of letting go, a final, gentle act of granting permission to the deepest part of your being, the part that stands watch at the very gate of consciousness itself. You are floating in the boundless ocean of being, untethered from the small, personal self. A peace that the mind cannot comprehend has settled over you, for you have returned to your source. And yet, there may be one final, subtle layer of tension, for even when the king has retired to his chambers and the courtiers have all gone home, a single, loyal guard may remain at his post by the main gate, standing watch out of sheer, lifelong habit. He does not know that the war is over. He does not know that it is a time of peace. He only knows his duty, to watch, to protect, to remain vigilant. This is the deepest, most primal part of your psyche, the inner sentry whose sole purpose is your survival. This vigilant guardian was formed long ago, forged in the fires of your past experiences. It learned, perhaps in childhood, perhaps in a time of great stress or trauma, that letting its guard down completely could lead to pain. It learned that to be safe, it must stay awake, ever watchful, scanning the horizon for the next potential threat. Its programming is simple and absolute. Do not fully surrender. Do not let go completely. To do so is to be vulnerable, and to be vulnerable is to be unsafe. And so, even as your conscious mind has embraced peace, even as your soul has merged with the universal all, this loyal sentry remains on duty. A final, subconscious holding pattern, a subtle tension that keeps you from the final, total oblivion of deep, restorative sleep. It is the part of you that believes, if I just stay aware a little longer, I might solve one more problem. I might catch something important. Its intention is to protect you, but its outdated vigilance has now become the very last barrier to the profound healing that you need most. The inner conflict, then, is between the great, exhausted kingdom of your being that is crying out for absolute peace and the lone, hyper-vigilant guard at the gate who refuses to stand down. It is a conflict between the deep need for surrender and the deep habit of control. We cannot fight this guard. We cannot defeat him with force, for he is a part of us, and his strength is born of his love for us. To fight him is to create more conflict, more tension. We must, instead, relieve him of his duty with honor, with gratitude, and with a gentle, loving authority. The core message, the royal decree that sets this final guardian free is this: you have done enough. Your watch is over. The day is complete. Its battles won and lost. The kingdom is safe. The universe itself is now standing guard. The intelligence that keeps the stars in their courses and the planets in their orbits is more than capable of watching over you while you rest. It is time to hand over the keys. It is time to trust in the great regenerative process of the night. It is time, finally, to rest. This message must be delivered not as a hopeful wish, but as a clear, gentle, and sovereign proclamation. It is you, in your highest aspect as the wise and loving ruler of your own inner kingdom, giving explicit and unequivocal permission to every part of your being to let go. So I invite you now to make this silent statement, to issue this sacred decree to the deepest levels of your consciousness. Say these words silently to yourself, not with your thinking mind, but from the authority of your heart, from the peaceful center of your being. Silently, lovingly, and with gentle authority proclaim, I now give myself full, complete, and unconditional permission to let go. I give my body permission to enter its deepest state of healing and restoration. I give my mind permission to be utterly and completely still. I give the loyal, vigilant guard within me permission to stand down. Your work is done. You have served me well. I thank you for your service. You may now rest. I give every cell, every nerve, every fiber of my being permission to surrender to the deep, dreamless peace that awaits me. I release my grip. I trust the process of the night. I am safe. Feel the power of these words. They are not just words. They are an energetic key turning in the final lock. You are the wise ruler of a great and bustling city. All day long, your gatekeeper, your conscious, active mind has been performing his exhausting duties. He has been checking the passports of incoming thoughts, managing the traffic of countless emotions, mediating disputes between conflicting desires, and keeping the city walls secure against perceived threats. His work is noble and necessary for the life of the day. But now, the sun has long since set. The citizens of the city, your various energies are all in their homes. A quiet peace has fallen over the streets. The ruler of the city, your highest self, has already retired to the palace, but the loyal gatekeeper remains at his post, clutching the great iron key, peering out into the darkness, his body tense with habitual vigilance. He does not know how to stop. The practice of giving yourself permission is the act of you, the wise ruler, walking through the quiet streets to the main gate. You place a gentle hand on your gatekeeper's weary shoulder. You look at him with profound gratitude and compassion, and you say, "My friend, you have kept the city safe. Your diligence is unsurpassed. But look, the day is over. All is well. Your watch has ended. Give me the key. Go to your home and sleep. I will watch over the city now." You are relieved of your duty. Feel the gatekeeper's relief. Feel him finally untensing the muscles in his shoulders. Feel him handing you the heavy iron key. Watch as he turns and walks away, a great, unburdened peace settling upon him. And you, the ruler, you calmly and deliberately lock the great gate of the city. There will be no more visitors tonight, no more traffic, no more business. The city is now officially closed until dawn. You hang the key on its hook. The final act of control has been lovingly relinquished. Feel this final letting go in your body now. It may be a subtle sensation, a final click as the last system goes into its sleep mode. It may feel like the very last muscle of tension, one you didn't even know you were holding, finally releasing its grip. It is the feeling of a complete and total cessation of all effort. There is nothing left for you to do. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to figure out, nothing to manage, nothing to control. You have surrendered the past. You have surrendered the future. You have honored your body. You have released your mind. And now, you have relieved the final guard of his post. You are utterly, completely, and profoundly free. The gate is locked. The keys are hung. The last loyal guard is finally at rest, and a silence of an entirely new dimension descends upon the temple of your being. It is not an empty silence. It is pregnant with meaning. It is a speaking silence. And if you listen now, not with your ears, but with your whole being, you can begin to hear the profound and subtle message that the night has been waiting to tell you all along. The last guard has been relieved of his duty. The great gates to the city of your being have been gently locked for the night. A new quality of silence descends, a silence of a depth and purity you have not yet experienced. This is not the silence that is merely an absence of noise. This is a living silence, a full silence. A silence that is pregnant with intelligence, with love, and with a message that has been waiting patiently for you to become quiet enough to hear it. The universe has been whispering its secrets to you your entire life, but the marketplace of your mind was too loud to hear them. Now, the marketplace has closed. We have been trained to believe that knowledge and wisdom are acquired through effort. We believe we must think harder, analyze more deeply, gather more information, and wrestle with our problems until they yield a solution. This is the way of the mind, the way of striving, and it has its place in the world of the day. But there is another kind of knowing, a deeper wisdom that does not come from striving, but from stillness. It is not an answer you figure out, but an insight that arrives, fully formed, when you finally get out of your own way. It is a knowing of the heart, a wisdom of the soul. This is the wisdom that the silence speaks. It does not speak in words, but in a language of pure, intuitive understanding. The inner conflict we face is between the habit of frantic, noisy seeking and the art of patient, quiet receiving. It is the difference between a hunter crashing through the forest in search of a rare bird and the mystic who sits so still and silently in the clearing that the bird comes and gently lands upon their shoulder. Tonight, you are not the hunter. You are the stillness. The core message is a release from the burden of having to figure it all out. The greatest insights you seek, the deepest healing you crave, the most profound sense of your own purpose, these are not found in the noisy workshop of your thinking mind. They are waiting for you, patiently, in the deep, silent well of your own being. The night is not just a time for the body to rest. It is a sacred appointment with your own deepest wisdom. The answers you have been chasing all day are dissolved in the silence of the night, and in their place, a simple, profound clarity can emerge effortlessly. The silence is not a void. The silence is an oracle, and its only requirement is your receptive, non-doing presence. The practice now becomes a kind of non-practice. It is the art of receptive listening. This is not an active listening with the ears, waiting for a specific sound or a voice. It is a full-body receptivity, an opening of your entire being. First, you must let go of your question. To hold on to a question is to remain in a state of seeking, of mental effort. Let it go. Trust that the wisdom you need will be given, without you having to formulate the perfect query. Your soul already knows what it needs to hear. Next, open your awareness. Feel your entire body as a vast, sensitive listening device. Feel every pore of your skin as a tiny ear, listening to the silence. Feel your heart as the center of this listening field. You are not listening for anything in particular. You are simply becoming one with the act of listening itself. Finally, be open to the form the message may take. The voice of the silence rarely speaks in the language of your day-to-day thoughts. The message may arrive as a sudden feeling of profound peace washing over you. It may come as a spontaneous sense of clarity about a situation that has been confusing you for weeks. It may be a gentle wave of self-love and forgiveness that heals an old wound. Or it may simply be a deep, unshakable cellular knowing that all is well, that you are safe, and that you are deeply, unconditionally loved. Imagine you have spent your entire day in a roaring, chaotic marketplace. Thousands of vendors, your thoughts, your worries, your plans there, all shouting at the top of their lungs, each trying to sell you their own brand of urgent business. In the midst of this overwhelming cacophony, you are desperately trying to hear a single, beautiful, whispered melody. It is an impossible task. The noise is too great. The journey we have taken together tonight, through all these stages of release, has been the slow, methodical process of this marketplace closing down for the night. One by one, the vendors have packed up their wares and gone home. The shouting has subsided, the haggling has ceased, the frantic energy has dissipated, and now you find yourself sitting all alone in the center of the vast, empty market square. The moon and the stars are out. The air is cool and still, and in this immense, pristine silence, for the first time, you can hear it, the whisper of truth, the beautiful, simple melody of your own soul. It was there all along, but it was completely drowned out by the noise. The silence did not create the melody, it simply allowed it to be heard. So rest now in the center of your own quiet square. There is nothing left for you to do, no thoughts to think, no feelings to fix, no problems to solve. You are simply here, in a state of open, trusting, receptive silence. You have done the work of letting go, and now you enter the state of grace, the state of receiving. Trust that on a level far deeper than your conscious mind can comprehend, a profound communication is taking place. Your small, personal mind is connecting with the great, universal mind. Your individual consciousness is receiving wisdom from the source of all consciousness. You do not need to understand it. You do not need to analyze it. You only need to provide the stillness in which it can be received. It is like placing a glass of clear water outside overnight. You do not see the dew forming, but in the morning, the glass is full. In the same way, your soul is being filled tonight with a nourishment that is invisible and silent, but absolutely real. As you lie here, listening to the deep, loving silence, you may feel all your questions begin to dissolve. The very energy of seeking begins to melt away, replaced by a sense of having already arrived. The wisdom you receive is not information for the mind to hoard. It is nourishment for the soul to absorb. It is the final, most profound lullaby. It is the gentle whisper of the universe, leaning in close and saying to the deepest part of you, all is well. Everything is unfolding perfectly. You are loved more than you can imagine. Rest now, come home. And in hearing this, in feeling this deep, cellular truth, you are finally ready to take the last step of this sacred journey. You are ready to cross the final threshold, not into a fearful oblivion, but into the loving, beating heart of the very source from which you came. You are ready for the sacred homecoming of sleep. You are resting in the vast, quiet square of your own being, bathed in the soft, silent moonlight of your own awareness. You have heard the whisper of the universe, the final, gentle lullaby that dissolves all questions and puts all seeking to rest. The message was simple. All is well. You are loved. Come home now. And so you find yourself here, at the very last threshold. This is the sacred doorway between the conscious, meditative mind and the great, mysterious ocean of sleep. This is the moment of your final, most beautiful surrender, the moment of your sacred homecoming. For your entire life, you have likely viewed sleep as a biological necessity, a simple shutdown of the system, perhaps even a waste of precious time. But now, from this place of deep stillness, you can perceive its true nature. Sleep is not a shutdown, it is a pilgrimage. It is the most profound and necessary spiritual practice you engage in every single night. It is a nightly baptism in the river of source consciousness. You are consciously choosing to dip the entire construct of your personality, your memories, your worries, your very name into the creative, intelligent, healing waters of the great mystery. You allow yourself to be cleansed of the dust of the day, to be healed of the wounds of your waking hours, and to be made whole again. It is from this source that you draw your creativity, your strength, your intuition, and your very life force. By entering it consciously and gratefully tonight, you are not just going to sleep. You are plugging your entire being directly into the infinite power outlet of the cosmos. And in this moment, on this final threshold, you notice something remarkable. The inner conflict is gone. The great war between the part of you that wants to rest and the part of you that wants to worry is finally over. A peace treaty has been signed in the universal language of silence. The restless thinker has become still. The anxious planner has relinquished its lists. The inner critic has been silenced by love. The loyal sentry has abandoned his post. There is no one left to fight. There is no one left to resist. There is only a deep, gentle, and irresistible pull towards home. The core message of this final moment is a complete reversal of our common understanding. We speak of falling asleep, a phrase that carries a subtle fear of heights, of a loss of control, of descending into a dark and unknown abyss. But you are not falling, you are rising. You are not descending into darkness. You are expanding into the brilliant, unimaginable light of your own deepest, truest self. The light of the day, with its endless distractions and demands, is what obscures this inner radiance. The darkness of the night is what allows it to finally be seen and experienced. You are not collapsing into a smaller state. You are expanding out of the tight, confining prison of your daytime personality and merging with the boundless freedom of your soul. This is not an act of falling. It is an act of ascension. The final practice is not a practice at all. It is a complete cessation of all doing, a surrender so total that it is experienced as a gentle, blissful sinking. I invite you to feel this now. Feel your body, resting here, utterly safe and supported, and begin to feel it sinking. This is not a frightening sensation. It is a feeling of profound release and safety. First, feel your body sinking into the surfaces that hold it. Feel it becoming one with the mattress, the pillows. Feel yourself being completely and unconditionally held. Let go into that support. Now, imagine yourself sinking even deeper. Feel your energy sinking down through the bed, through the floor, through the very foundations of the building, and into the vast, solid, stable body of the planet Earth. Feel yourself held in the immense, silent, powerful embrace of the Earth itself. You are her child. You are safe in her arms. Finally, feel yourself sinking even beyond the Earth. Sinking into the vast, dark, loving ocean of universal consciousness that holds everything. You are sinking into the very fabric of being, sinking into peace, sinking into love, sinking into home. You are the weary traveler. Your journey today has been long and arduous. You have navigated treacherous roads. You have carried heavy burdens. You have felt the heat of the sun and the dust of the world upon you. But now, you have arrived. You are standing at the gates of your true ancestral home, a home you may have forgotten in your travels, but which has never, for a single moment, forgotten you. The great, ancient doors are standing wide open. From within, you can feel a profound peace, a gentle warmth, an air of unconditional welcome. There is no one here to judge you for where you have been or what you have done. There are no questions to be answered. There is no toll to be paid. There is only the silent, loving promise of absolute rest, absolute belonging. All you have to do is walk in. So walk in. Take that final step across the threshold. Let the great doors swing silently closed behind you. Feel the heavy cloak of your journey, the identity of the traveler. Simply fall from your shoulders to the floor. You do not need it anymore. You are not the traveler. You are home. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to be, nothing left to know. The journey is complete. The search is over. You have arrived. Let the silence take you. Let the peace absorb you. Let the love dissolve you. Rest now. Rest deeply. Return to the source. You have planted yourself in the rich, dark soil of the night. You did not strive or struggle. You simply allowed yourself to be held, to be nourished by the great, silent, loving darkness. Trust, now, that in this sacred space beyond your conscious control, a quiet miracle is unfolding. The seeds of peace, of trust, of gratitude you have so carefully planted are being tended to by the master gardener of the universe. The deep, intelligent, and restorative powers of your own being are at work, healing the tired body, clearing the cluttered mind, and preparing the ground for a new dawn. This is a work that cannot be done in the light. It is the secret, sacred business of the night. When the first light of morning eventually comes to greet you, it will not be a harsh intrusion. It will be a gentle invitation. Your awakening will not be a frantic leap from bed, but a slow and graceful blossoming, an unfurling. The peace you have cultivated tonight will not vanish with the darkness. It will become the silent, steady foundation for your day. The energy you feel will not be the jagged, anxious energy of a mind that has wrestled with ghosts all night. It will be a deep, calm, centered power that rises from a wellspring of inner stillness. You will meet the day not as a problem to be solved, but as a new space in which to live, to breathe, and to be. Know this, as you drift into the final, beautiful silence, The peace you have found tonight is not in these words. It was never in my voice. It is, and always has been, in you. This journey was not one of acquisition, but of excavation. We did not build a new sanctuary. We simply cleared away the rubble that was hiding the ancient, beautiful temple of your own heart. You have now rediscovered the path. You know the way back home. Rest now, return to the source, and awaken renewed.